Hello, everyone. Hello. Hope you all can hear me just fine. Apologies 1 second. I'm going to share around the stream real quick before we get this show on the road, because this is going to be a long stream. Probably. Hopefully not. Well, who knows? Rich tends to take forever to talk.
Yeah, I'm hopefully not too either, because I gotta get to work tomorrow.
All right, just to let you guys know, I'm once again by my wonderful guest, Casey's Raw, from Casey's Raw Gaming and Wrestling. I know you guys can't see him yet, but give me 1 second to set that screen up while we were going.
How's it going, dude?
Oh, it's been going good. It's been going really good. Let's swap over.
I've been rested a lot yesterday before Saturday is Raw, but then today I was out in the pallet after noon and got back from my aunt's house. So I was like, got here a couple hours ago, so just been relaxing a little bit.
Oh, I understand that, brother. It's been a pretty crazy week, honestly.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're not having too many internet connection issues. Doesn't look like it, but just in case. Let me send out a tweet real quick, let everyone know we're live, and then let's get the show on the road. So we got quite a bit to watch tonight. So this is part 2 to the first part of the stream that we did, where we went over the Review Tech USA documentary, and that was, and we gave our thoughts about it, and I personally thought it was pretty interesting seeing it. Honestly,
yeah.
I mean,
it was fun. I mean, it was interesting watching it. I mean, we only sampled a little bit on the show last week, but I mean, I watched the June the King documentary before we did that, so there's only a little bit of the beginning of Rich that I didn't really know. Like, I mean, a lot of that stuff been spilled out to me, especially since Kino Casino was diving into them.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable, to say the least. And at the same time, there was a lot of it that, at least from my understanding, a lot of people were already aware of. Like, 'cause it went over a lot of the old stuff he did, and I've got like tons of drinks and water just in case.
That's not, yeah. I probably a little later I get these drinks.
It is what it is. But anyhow, let's go ahead and start this stream up real quick. I'm going to drop the quality because I don't really need 1080 or 7p, because honestly, who really cares? I don't care too much about the picture. I care more about making sure we can understand what he's saying. I'm also going to bring up the speed of it to 1.25, just so that way, because he has quite a bit of pauses. Yeah, a lot of dead air. So let's go ahead and, because this is when apparently he starts reacting to the stream.
USA is a tragic case, one of instability, or where both ends of the emotional spectrum play against him.
Because you're dumb, and your kids will be dumb. You don't come to a stream for someone else's baggage. You know what I mean?
These extreme reactions are coming out at the lowest point of his channel, which previously released highly relevant, low-effort videos and taking serviceable glances at gaming news or subjects parallel to gaming. Though
it really does. Like, I experienced that when I was going over like the stream that ruined his career, the family-friendly 8-bit Eric stream. When I spud that fucker up, I was like
his former editor Jay.
Holy shit!
You're the sidekick everywhere.
Yeah, he sounds almost normal while the narrator himself.
Why did it go muted?
Destruction has also unearthed a history of doxing. Poor research that at one point had the former president of Sony call him stupid, and a history of lies and drama that were almost forgotten, but are coming back to form a rich history of failure.
Hopefully the chat right there, his YouTube chat's working.
That was already a very interesting intro.
In late 2009, a channel named Review Tech USA began uploading. This was Rich Masucci's, an American man with a tech background, second attempt at YouTube. Uploaded was video after video of video game consoles.
If you take a look at him, I'm going to pause right here real quick. Like, if you take a look, you realize like how different he looked, like, and honestly how healthy he looked back then comparatively to now.
Well, yeah, I mean, his life crashed. I mean, yeah, he did look healthier. I mean, he was still a big guy, but like he looked like he actually had energy, and not like today where he's high as all the time. And like for a person who's into podcasting or being on YouTube, having so much dead air, like how could he prosper with that?
Honestly, God knows how he thinks he's going to be able to prosper. What gets me is he wants to come down to Georgia and bring his politics down with him too. Like he thinks that's going to work somehow.
Yeah, he's supposed to be politics channel now, right? Like,
yeah, a political style channel, which is hysterical to say the least.
Is he going to change his name, or is he still going to be Review Tech USA? And it's still, but instead of reviewing tech, he's reviewing politics,
which is mind-boggling to say the least. Just absolutely fucking mind-boggling. I don't even know where to begin on that level of logic. I just don't.
He's been needing to change that name forever anyways. I mean, like I said, I've been following him since the Wii U era when we're heading into the Nintendo Switch. And that's when he was doing a lot of the gameplays when he was doing the news. So I was a fan of him. And one of my favorite episodes he did was when he had that crazy stalker, that was following him around from when, oh gosh, they would call him Richie. That was one of my favorite stories.
Someone who, if I'm remembering correctly, he said was a former lover of his or something like that. I vaguely recall the video. I just remember the parts where he was like, this guy's fucking crazy.
He was trying to hook up with Rich, he was like, he always wanted to go hang out and stuff, and he's like, no, I don't want to hang out with you. And now I'm wondering how much of that is true, since he's a well-known liar.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if it's possible that was a former lover of his, who he painted out to be more of a crazy individual than what they are. Again, speculation on my part, allegedly, for legal reasons, allegedly, because knowing Rich, he's willing to go any distance to fuck people up.
Honestly, he doesn't have money to come to sue anyone anyways. Like, he barely survived with what he got, so.
Well, I mean, if he's willing to stress buy an iPad, I'm sure he's willing to stress buy a lawyer. I'm a dick. Anyhow, let's continue on. Because like I said, there's going to be a couple of points we're going to hit. This stream's not going to be a super long stream. Sorry, guys. I'm just not going to sit through 4 hours. There's very few people I'm going to do it for. Sorry, Rich, you're not one of them. Anyhow, let's continue on.
Here we go already. Oh my God. Okay. My first channel. See, this is where, June, it wouldn't have been mediation where you would add a whole J and I's hands and be couples therapy. My first channel was started because I was going to sell amplifiers with my dad. It's why it was called RLM Audio. I wasn't doing that shit anymore. So I was like, and I made Review Tech USA actually on Thanksgiving night of 2008, just because I thought the name. And here's something that actually makes me sound like an asshole. I've admitted to this before. I did it so I could like my own videos. So they would get an extra like. No, I'm not kidding. See if you talk to me.
That fucking soundboard.
Honestly, I mean, I think it's okay you hit like on your own video anyways. I'm like I do that, but I don't create another channel just to hit another get 2 likes. That's when you're getting too petty. But it's kind of like how I think that's okay, but stuff like, it's really frowned upon when you like your own stuff on Facebook or on Twitter, because it's stupid. Because like I don't know, it's just stupid. But
You get the impression.
Okay.
The best way my stepfather phrased it is, it comes off like you're sucking your own dick. To me, with YouTube, the way I look at it is, if I know that I've put a lot of effort and a lot of time into the video, then I'll drop a like on it, because I know I am appreciating my work, the hard time and effort I put into it. But other than that, I just don't normally like my videos. And I'm usually pretty shy about people praising my work too.
Plus, on things like Facebook and Twitter, they say, "Oh, this person likes this post," or something like that. So if you see that you posted something and you hit your own like, it's gonna say, "Oh, you liked your own post." So I mean, you could, at least on YouTube, you could hide your like on your video, like you're anonymous when you do that. But I don't venture off and I have 5 or 10 more counts to get my likes and sub count up. That's when you're just getting too petty.
At that point, it seems like you're just trying to one up your competition without actually properly one upping them. But anyhow, let's continue on.
That's embarrassing. Oh, what a fucking loser. Anyway, let's continue.
Spanning virtually all console generations, from the Atari 2600 to the then modern Xbox 360. These were off the cuff, simple overviews of the consoles where Rich of Review Tech USA often interjected his own stories with the devices. The same could be said about his other videos that range widely on topics. This one was playing into a stereotype that women enjoy being on the phone longer. This video, though titled Is Steve Jobs Dying?, was really about Rich's experience with Apple products and the history of Apple. Those looking to find facts would
I will say that was a weird ass title, but I already said that in the previous part, so let's continue.
scarcely find it on this channel.
The audio sucks.
Benefit. While he was not very keen nor uniquely knowledgeable of the products he was reviewing, he was very opinionated and confident in what he was saying. This means he had much to say and many videos to make, evident by his catalog. And after about a year or so of content creation, his beliefs had become established. Rich was a fan of console gaming, believing it was superior because of its ease.
Oh, we're going into the Blockbuster
access and affordability against PC's customizability that also lends to its complexity. Taking a side in this never-ending debate meant that his opinions resonated with those that preferred consoles, and those audience members would become easier fans of Rich. But the same could be said about the opposition, all of which.
So I wanted to let him get through all that first before I say anything. I think you're going to find Rich's answers to these pretty interesting, Casey. At least I think personally you'll find them.
I heard that he contradicts himself. Like he'll say, "Oh, that's not true," and then he automatically turns around. And it's like, "Well, it did happen," you know. So I was like, I heard that on Kino Casino. It's like, hold on, he just contradict himself. Like he's been known to do that. So
yeah, he has a very bad habit, in my opinion, of doing so. Just a really bad habit.
But he's saying console better than PCs. I mean, That is not accurate at all. I mean, I prefer consoles because I like having physical media than having just playing on my laptop. But PCs are always going to be superior than, especially. I mean, at one point, consoles edged them out for a little bit, and then PC just leapfrogs over them. So, but usually PC is superior. So
well,
it's just
PCs or Mac, whichever one you pick, are going to be superior simply because of the hardware configurations. You can upgrade the system to have a better CPU and GPU in it with PCs. Excuse me. With like Macs, you can do a similar thing. Was like you can get the bigger, better chip. With both PCs and Macs, you can get more RAM and more storage. So you can only store more games, but you have more RAM, which means the system has more memory to work with, especially when it comes to playing the higher end video games like, say, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Battlefront, let's see, Tomb Raider. I'm trying to think of a few others. But like games like that, you're going to experience that. But
I'm like, the computer always evolve a lot faster than consoles. Consoles, I mean, usually last between 3 to lately up to 8 years, maybe and a little longer. And that's mainly because consoles like the 360 and PS3 era, where it lasted like 8 years, you know?
absolutely.
But before that, it was commonly the console's lifespan was 5 to 6 years, and now obviously expanded since then. But and when you're doing that, like your console is only good at so much, while PCs you can upgrade everything. Yeah, technically you have patches, but you're not gonna have a patch. It's like suddenly your PS5 is gonna run like past 8K because of that. You know, like you can only do so much what's in the hardware. But
well, not only that, but like me and Irish had a conversation with that all the way back on episode 4 of Epic or Trash about this. And then I was pissed off, and the reason why I didn't like Sony was because I was pissed off at the fact that we were promised on the PlayStation 5 that we would get 8K gaming at 30 frames a second. I was like, and he brought up a good point. He's like, how many people have an 8K television that's going to, one, take advantage of it, and two, what video game can you name that would have 8K display ability? I was like, yeah, there's not a single game.
We're not there yet.
The highest I've ever seen any of them is displaying as like 4K at 240 hertz, and that's on a fucking specially designed like $5,000 computer that's meant to do that, and that's for like hardcore gaming.
And it's not there yet. Like, I mean, I still have a just 1080p TV, and that's just perfect for me. I don't need the 4K or 8K TV because I'm more into retro anyway. So like, how much more? I'm like, actually, the more cleaner the images, the worse it looks for the retro games. You know.
Well, not only that, but like at least for my experience, apologies, I'm moving a fan around because I'm getting tired of the fan vibrating my chest. Well, not only that, but like in my experience, was it not only that, but in my experience, a lot of like the game consoles and stuff that I used never really went past 720p, which is on the screen right now, 720p, 30 frames a second. That's what I'm used to playing at. Because I never really cared. I was like, as long as the game worked, as long as the game looked halfway decent and it worked, and I didn't run into weird crashes and freezes or glitches or stutters like my live stream has had a couple of times here. That's probably due to my poor internet connection. I never really cared. And that's just how I feel about it.
I mean, to me, it's gameplay over the quality of the graphics, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm more a Nintendo guy. I've been a Nintendo guy and Sega guy forever. Like, and Nintendo, even the Nintendo Switch is like a step and a half behind the PS5 and Xbox Series X. But they also have a way better software line than both of those combined. Like, you can go into any store right now and barely see any exclusives between the PS5 and Xbox Series. It's like there's hardly any games for them. And you gotta remember, we're 4 years in that generation, and we hardly have any games for either console. And
seriously, even though we have a PlayStation 5, even though we have one, we only use it to stream movies or TV shows. I haven't played a single video game on it because I hadn't found one that I want to play on it. Everything I want to play is on my PlayStation 4 or it's on my MacBook. It's one of the two.
I mean, honestly, I tell people, like, if you still have PS4 or you're a PS4 Pro, you should still be good right now. There's only very select games are for the PS5 right now.
No, worth playing. But anyhow,
worth playing.
Let's
we got sidetracked.
Well, to be fair, this is about Review Tech USA getting it wrong about consoles so far, but let's go ahead and continue.
Down in
Nah, man. See, here's another thing you could have roasted me for too. I thought I was trying to be like Classic Game Room. There you go. Ta-da. Another roast that I'm giving myself you could have had for me.
In the same tech space. Blackbuster critic.
I'm actually friends with this guy now. I talk to him occasionally. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
or BBC for short, was a creator that pushed PC gaming over consoles. This, in late 2010, eventually led to a light feud between the two and an online debate hosted by the BBC.
So I'll let you have
the BBC. You just know
the post first, or the stand, or the soapbox, or whatever the hell
you
want to call it,
stream,
and then we'll go from there.
What do you want me to talk about first?
State the case of why, PC gaming is superior for everybody.
After about an hour-long debate, Rich concedes.
I'll be the first to admit that he owned me.
All right.
I'm saying it. I'm the man right here saying it. So.
Well, it was interesting at that time. Again, if you want to watch this, I'm going to interject quite a bit because that's what I always do. I was coming from Vista to Windows 7. I just started having a look. Yes, Windows 7 seemed like was going to be much more stable, but I got back into PC gaming when Vista was in its prime.
Oh,
I bought a 8600 GS and a dual core AMD processor, and it crashed all the fucking time. So that was my first experience getting back into PC gaming. That's why I had this take.
You all have a good holiday, and even though I'm owned, I will still put this video up on my YouTube channel because they wouldn't be right of me not to do it. So have a good one, man. It was great.
Oh yeah, he went after 3KB back in the day. I forgot about that.
While things were cordial between BBC and Rich, they were not exact.
So I got a question for you, Casey. Do you want to continue on with this part of the drama, or do you want to move to the next part? Because there's a couple of ones that I really would like to hit on, but I wasn't sure if you want to continue on with this particular drama. Hey, Spooky, how you been holding up?
I mean, honestly, they're having a debate between consoles and
computers.
I'm like, okay, I mean that's just stupid. It's a stupid debate. Like, okay, I definitely move on from that.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on from that. Wait a minute, why the hell did I drop a like? Oh, I remember why I dropped a like on the stream, so that way I could keep it in my folder just in case. So we're gonna move on from there. I personally, I forgot I did that. I want to hit on. Where is it, real quick? Where is the camera? The camera one is the one I want to hit on, which is right here.
Oh yeah.
This is the one I want to talk about real quick. So let's go ahead and
Into the
start
idea
it from there.
in theory, we're still in a shaky ground area.
Nice.
That there's no case
Glad
that
you
has
got
set
off work.
precedent for gameplay
Spooky.
footage yet. It should be fair use, but if a case ever goes in front of a judge, like a YouTuber versus Konami,
Hey, the chat's finally working too. Holy shit.
yeah, he's a handsome guy.
The chat's
He has
working
no
on the
ass, though.
live stream. I'm
which has
happy.
long since been removed from his channel, but archived third-party compilations that demonstrate how catastrophic not so much this video was, but the endless responses and poor handling of what should have been a simple situation.
Yep, I agree with that one.
Yes, I know I'm going to be called an e-beggar no matter what I say. But I'm doing this with a twist that no one else has done because I don't just want your friggin' money. I really don't.
Why did I do this? Yeah, this one was a fucking retard move. I'll admit it.
I honestly don't. What do I need? I need a camcorder for the show, straight up.
See, that's where like you started to kind of win me over a little bit because I was like, yeah, look, he's starting to admit to it. He's starting to own up to his mistakes. And like Darkside Phil, in my opinion, nailed it best when he was talking about it. He said that had Rich just accepted the fact that people were going to be pissed at him for e-begging and just went along with it instead of creating this convoluted plot thing, he would have been fine because he was like, what, 5% of his audience is going to get butthurt? So what? 5% of your body audience get butthurt. You can still donate to charity.
It sounds like that fans that got into your mic.
A little bit. Oh yeah, because you're getting the I forgot you're getting the laptop one. Like I said, I'm blowing off the laptop because I just spit all over it unintentionally. Ugh.
There you go.
So yeah, so now knock it off. So now to get back to what I was saying, DSP I think got it best when he was talking about how Rich should have just taken the money, asked for the money, say, hey, I need a new camcorder because I want to make this kind of content with the camcorder because I want to make better content and I'm tired of dealing with these corporations who are, because at the time it was a thing for a lot of game companies to strike down videos with gameplay in it that weren't independent studios.
That's true. Like Nintendo was a big one until until Nintendo switched over to Twitch, and even on the Switch a little bit, they were very anti like YouTube. They did not let people stream their games, and now they finally saw the ways. Like, hey, it's free advertising. You know?
Well, absolutely. But not only that, my apologies, I clicked the wrong button. But not only that, but now it should be a little bit clearer for you. Not only that, but the other thing that like and Misfit, who just popped in the chat, said it best. DSP dealt with people trolling him better than Rich was ever capable of, and that's really the honest truth. Rich honestly just couldn't deal with it, and it's really sad. It really is. It's
and
just,
that's the sad thing is a lot of people who can't handle the people in the chat, like if they're like really maliciously trolling you and like I mean, I don't want to point this out, but if you watch Locale Live lately, they're straight up doxing Wings and Boogie every other show. And there's no freaking mods there.
yeah.
I'm like, there'll be straight up 5-10 minutes in the straight where they're doxing where Boogie or Wings' address. I'm like, and I felt like I had at least try something to stop that because I'm like, I tried to report the person because of that, but like it didn't do anything. Like,
No,
so that's up to Locale. That's up to Locale to get freaking mods in that chat.
Well, they're not going to. The reason why they're not going to is because they want the drama. The thing about, and DSP also nailed it about the show. I'm going to take a sip of water and then I'm going to point out what he said. DSP got it best when he said that show is all about creating drama and screwing other people's careers. He said in the video, right, setting up for his reaction to the documentary, and he really nailed it on the head that that kind of show is like putting on the clown makeup for the internet. And once you put the makeup on, you put the wig on, you get the suit dressed up and everything, people are going to look at you for the clown that you are. Even no matter how much of the makeup you get off, you take the wig off, you're dressed up nicely, it doesn't matter. He talked about this guy who was a big insane posse fan, and he got the makeup tattooed on his face. Even with multiple surgeries over a decade, the outlining of the original tattoo is still on his face. And like he's I'm like, he has a point there. No, you're good. Like, he has a point there.
Well, here the thing is, if you're stupid enough, like, hey, I'm gonna tattoo the Insane Clown Posse. I think it was a Violent J, wherever.
Violent J, yeah.
Face paint on your face. You did that to yourself. You don't blame the artist. You did that to yourself. And honestly, I might sound like a dick, but I don't feel sorry for him. Like,
no, that's not the point of that. How can you feel sorry for someone who made a dumb move? The point of DSP bringing that up was that Rich is doing the same thing. He did the same thing. It's just he didn't do it physically, but he did it psychologically. He did it to everyone who isn't a fan of his. The people forever will see him for a clown now, a lolcow. He's no longer looked at as a halfway decent person. And to me, that is truly sad. Like, I don't mind doing funny lolcow style moments if it makes people laugh. I don't mind it because I like seeing people laugh. And if it makes me look like a fool to make you laugh, I would rather look like a fool making you laugh than leaving you depressed on, like, say, the side of the road. I'd rather see people in a happier state than in a depressed state, even for a moment.
I don't like how Rich still attacks Eric. I mean, he has this photo up there. Like, I mean, Eric was just watching out for his friend JKB,
and he was even watching. Even before that, he was friends with Rich. So, like, it made absolutely no sense. Him and Rich were Facebook fucking buddies. Apparently, they used to talk to each other quite a bit. So, like, it literally demonstrates to Rich's mentality of that angry Italian from New York who's butthurt over the fact that he couldn't screw over someone who was his best friend and potential lover, from information that has been given to me, 15 fucking years. It's like, you're serious? Are you fucking serious? And this is how you're gonna treat him. And then when his other friend comes to correct the record and make sure, hey, this is the story, this is what happened, you turn around and paint him as some kind of monster. That he's the demon, he's the reason why that all this fell apart. No, it's your fault. But you're going to love his response when June gets to that. And that's the biggest one I want to touch, is his response.
Well, the one thing I like to say is that how they point out Eric as a small-time YouTuber. Like, the guy's about to hit 100K. Like, how is that a small-time YouTuber?
Comparatively to the size of Rich. That's what he was going off through.
Well, Eric's going up while Rich is going down. Rich is done. There's no way he's gonna recover from this now. He pretty much just torched his whole brand. Like
there
they're
is
done.
like one, and RJ from Game News USA said it best. There's one way for him to come back, and that would start with an apology to every single person he has hurt over the last 4 months, and a sincere apology at that. And then the next step he would have to do is take a walk away from drama, start doing tech
Yes.
reviews again, start covering the news again. If you don't fucking like it, do it, and do it for months on end, and you'll rebuild the reputation you had before, because you could do it live. Tipster proved that you could do it live for years and make money and have a credible reputation, and then fuck it all up when you try to defend somebody who stole $100,000, who essentially so far has gotten away with it. Oh, no comment.
No, no.
You're not going to comment on the Keffels, huh? Somebody's in the
No.
Keffels.
No.
Bounce.
I don't follow. I don't. I've never seen the person's content, so I can't say.
Oh, me and you are going to go over that then. Me and you are so going over that. You need to know about it, because your reaction would be fucking priceless to her stealing $100,000 US through a GoFundMe, which in Canadian money is $136,911.36. Fuck you, Keffels.
Holy shit!
Fuck you, Keffels. Fuck you. And then you want to claim that people are fucking transphobic for calling out the fact that you didn't spend that $100,000 on what you're supposed to have spent it on, which is on a lawsuit against police who are anti-fucking trans. Fuck you. You really fucking needed that $2,000 gaming chair, you ass clown. Okay, I need to calm down about that, because I'm already raging, and I'm not raging at the right person. Well, I am raging at the right person, but not in this particular video. I'm not raging at the right person. Zen, AJ. Zen. Let's continue on.
Using gameplay footage, I'm constantly dealing with getting copyright.
And then I
claims on
went
my
right back to
videos.
gameplay footage.
Rich goes on to explain how he would avoid the title e-beggar by donating the $500, which is the amount he was seeking for the camcorder, a year after he receives the funds, to a charity of his audience choice. What's more, if the donation goal is exceeded, he will refund any of that excess money. This is overly complicated. Even for 2013 YouTube, that was less accepting of creators petitioning for money or earning it through sponsorships. The depths that Rich was going to just avoid being called an e-beggar, something only the smallest sections of his audience would even care about, exposed that as an insecurity and point that he could easily be pressured by, easily trolled from.
The only people that pissed me off, even though I knew he was going to miss this part, I think Blockbuster Critic could actually back me up on this. The reason I asked for the money is that I actually thought that year, because this is the first year I made money from YouTube, that I was going to owe money. And I wanted to get the camcorder because, well, I didn't have the money. I wanted to get the camcorders. I thought I genuinely needed it for my content. I ended up getting my taxes done, and not only did I not owe, I got a refund. So what I did was, as soon as I got that refund was, and I showed the receipt of me giving it to a charity, I gave the money to a charity for the amount I received for the camcorder. Anyway, that's a big asterisk that I had to put in there.
No, I've also heard that apparently he didn't donate 500, he donated 300.
So you pocket a couple $100.
Essentially, yes.
I was gonna say, it's like, where's the proof? I mean, ever since the whole scandal, the completionist, and the whole thing with Boogie, I prefer seeing proof before taking his word that he donated money. I mean, at least when Boogie donated to St. Jude recently, that both he would show proof to Murderheart and Keemstar. So I'm like, but you have at least two people who can say yes, he did do that. Well, I'm not taking Rich's word for it.
Well, from what I understand, there's a video. I don't remember where I saw the video, but like they showed the original video he did where he took the camcorder he bought. It was a $300 one, not the $500 one he said he was going to get, and he shot the image of the receipt. And even so, with that, even with that, it's still, in my opinion, not okay. It's just not. The DSP got it right. Should have just said, "Hey, I need the money for it," and if you didn't need the money for it, shouldn't have asked for it. You should have waited until after you're done with your taxes, and if you didn't have the money, then ask for it.
See, the thing is, like, I feel like it's if you want to have if you want something and you have a stretch goal, and if you're actually going to spend the money to get that item for the channel, I think that's okay. Because, like, you know, sometimes you'll see someone like they'll put like, oh, $20 to get pizza or something like that, or but then it's something like, hey, I need money for this graphic card for my computer, so like like at least they're telling you what's going to, like, I'm okay with that. So I mean, you're showing support to your content creator. That's how I look at that. So, and that's when he goes into Patreon thing. He should just done Patreon, and if it didn't work out, then take it down. If it worked, keep it up.
Well, see, I'll spoil that for you. The Patreon did work out. It worked out for an entire freaking month, and then he decided to shut it down because a few trolls said he shouldn't be making money off of the internet, despite thousands of people signing up for it
And,
at like $20 a month.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you're a big YouTuber, then that's, I can understand. But I guarantee if I put $20 for a Patreon per member, people would lose their shit on me.
Like the highest tier I have right now is $12, and I thought about making it up to 20, and the reason why is because I would offer like a special mug that you wouldn't be able to buy on the store that I have, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and shield myself real quick. If you want to join my Patreon where you can get in my server and have some fun with us, with Casey included, yours truly, $2 a month right now, but it's only until the end of August, because when September rolls around, it's going back up to $5 a month. So keep that in mind. If you want to help support the channel the other way, I do have a Streamlabs where you can purchase merchandising. And other than that, if you want to send me a tip and be featured on the live stream, or potentially be featured on an episode of Epic or Trash, consider hitting up my tip page at streamlabs.com/themerciful-doctor/tip, or hit the link in the description of this video. With that also being said, now to get on to what I was going to talk about.
So even that, I don't consider eBay, because if someone if I'm gonna want to show support to someone I like maybe like the Game Chasers, I mean, when they're doing their gaming stream and when people donate to them, to me, you're supporting them, you know? So that's how I look at it. And a lot of times, the channel I was on before I went pretty much independent, it was Derailed Podcast, News and Podcasts. And we had a Patreon, and I did, for a while, I would tell my buddy Drew, it was all I just want to do is support you. You know, I don't care. I don't look at the content or whatever. I just giving you the money because I feel I want to support you. Same thing with memberships on his channel right now. So, Like, I'm just there to say hi, and I'm here to support you.
I've
So-
thought about once I get memberships, how I'm going to handle that. I haven't quite figured out. I definitely know for certain, though, that I do want to give YouTube members who can like verify, and I got to figure out how to do that to set that portion up. But if I do get memberships, which I am 80 subscribers away, so if you're feeling generous and you want to help me get to memberships, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all my latest content. But I do definitely know, for as far as memberships are concerned, I'm going to give them access to the Discord. That I am for certain. I'm not sure what else I'm going to add to it. I know I'm going to add a little more, because that to me is unreasonable, because then why not just leave with just the Patreon in that particular case? Because like, what's the point of paying for higher memberships when you can pay for the lower in Patreon, and you're directly giving me almost 100% of all the profit versus only 60% plus a tax to you on top of that.
Exactly.
So I definitely know I'll probably do some extra content here and there for them, at least some extra content. I'm not sure what else I'm going to do, but at least wise, like with memberships and stuff like that, unlike Rich, where you only get birds and cucumbers, that's it, pictures of cucumbers and birds, yay. I'm actually going to try to give you more than just that. Like, to me, that seems it's unfair in my opinion, at least. But anyhow, let's go ahead and finish up this portion of it, and then we're going to head into the next portion, like I said, because I want to get all the way to the J stuff, because I really want to touch on the J stuff.
That's the meat and potatoes right there.
Yeah, of the whole documentary. Like this is just the appetizers for the entree.
Yeah.
So let's continue.
It is when people said they donated, and I would see like the same small group of trolls like going around and attacking people.
It did not take long for Rich to get that money via donations. He even bought a cheaper camera that was about $140 less than expected. But he made the mistake of addressing the trolls and the...
Yeah, because I was a retard. That wasn't the camera that I got. I got...
So we pretty much know how this plays out. So let's go ahead and get past here, because he basically continues fighting with him over and over and over again, and then he does the whole My Real Twitter thing to deal with the trolls. That didn't work out. But I want to see if I can get to it.
I love how he, I guess, on this train, I guess he realized the initials of his BBC. He's like, BBC.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's I don't know if I would have called myself that, but anyhow, that's this is kind of something I also want to touch on real quick, which is like the new egg stuff.
Additionally, this was seen as boasting, with Rich likely seeing himself as someone who was stalwart in the refund he deserved, rather than tearing down an employee who was restricted from making an equally furious retort, therefore defenseless. The top comment of this video reads, quote, "Don't lose it with frontline personnel. It's not their fault. They get paid a shitty wage to protect their supervisors and managers from the public. Rip into supervisors and managers by all means. That's different." Unquote.
That's true.
The majority of comments echo this sentiment.
So that was an interesting comment, and that comes from, like, he made a video about the new egg customer service where he wanted to trade in a one step lower AMD graphics card for the one step above. That was like $100 more expensive, and it would only net you like 10 extra frames per second. So it wasn't really worth it. But Rich, obviously wanting the best of the best, decided he was going to use the new egg trade-in deal, which is where you would trade in the GPU you recently got for the higher end with a voucher, as long as you had the voucher. Well, he allegedly didn't have the voucher. Either according to him, he taped it to the top of the box, which makes no sense, because from what I'm saying, you were supposed to have it in the box. According to Newegg, it wasn't in the box, period, or taped on the box. There was no signs of it. So I'm not sure who's necessarily telling the truth there, but like the reason I'm bringing that up is because like it's scummy stuff like that. It's fucked up, and I've never understood that logic.
I can't comment on that. I mean, that's I don't trade in parts for computer parts for like I honestly like that's why I use like stream yards because like I said it's OBS for idiots.
I swear, one of
So
these
that's
fucking
what-
days, I'm going to teach you how to use OBS. It's not that hard, I promise you. It is not that fucking hard.
I can kind of use it. That's what I use when I'm recording my gameplay. But
You literally you don't even need to get the stream key and do all the complicated stuff. You literally can just sign in your YouTube channel to it, make it an
Yeah.
administrator, so then it is allowed to post videos directly or upload
Yeah.
streams directly. And all you need to do is click new broadcast, put in
Yeah.
the information you want, put the thumbnail, click
Okay.
live, you're done.
I got all that, but I'm like all the you bring like how I can do on StreamYards, like I can bring up this screen like I'm like on a website I can bring up the screen.
You literally can do the same
And,
thing. It's called window capture. It's literally called window capture. I swear to everything. Oh my god. I'm gonna kill whoever made StreamYards. I'm gonna kill him. That's it. I'm gonna kill him. And now I'm gonna get arrested for that. How's your day been?
I like it, even though it has problems. Like I said, it's OBS for dummies. So that's how. I mean, plus I can bring people in and out, and it's like the combination of OBS and Skype or Discord, where like you can bring people in and out. Like.
No wonder why Dave Rose wants to throw a shoe at you. Anyhow, I can understand his frustrations now. Originally, I didn't. Now I do. It's like I used to not understand the frustrations of the detractors of Rich's channel. Now I fully understand their anger. It makes a hell of a lot of sense with all the shit that's happened recently. I can understand why they're just like, fuck Rich. Anyhow, let me skip forward past this because honestly,
comment about
most of this drama is pretty much so like this is old stuff, like the Big Cheese stuff. Like that was kind of fucked up. The Shadows government, I kind of want to hit on real quick.
Yes, definitely. I agree.
Like that definitely needs to be talked about real quick.
That's a big thing. I agree.
Oh yeah, this is the Big Cheese stuff right here. Nice guy business. Let's see right here. Okay, here we go. This should be the lead up to Shadow's government. So here we go.
Nice.
Oh, you reviewed, yeah, because they were starting to catch up with him.
Oh god, I forgot. I clicked on the part where he starts speaking.
Yep.
Bar. I deal with trolling on a daily
God
basis.
bless
I deal
America.
with nonsense on a daily basis. I've been
Yeah, Renton, I will give you this. I was a complete fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he sees the comments way
I made
after
much ado
they've
about
already been
nothing.
posted.
I made it turn into something which I basically I was like a dog.
I keep forgetting that he sees the comments after they've already been posted up. So what you're seeing there is like the latest comments. But if I was to scroll up, it would show you the comment.
Oh, you're talking about the chat replay, right?
Yeah, the chat replay. The chat replay plays in real time as the stream was being streamed. And Streamlabs is got like a delay, and when you see the chats. So he has a second monitor. The way if I understand, he's got the main monitor stacked like this, and the second monitor is where my camera is. So whenever you see him looking like this, it's because he's seeing the other monitor. He's reading the chat, so he's seeing a delay, and that's why he's responding like that. I was like, because I always kept wondering why it would take him forever, and that's the reason why he has it set to a delay. I was like, that explains why he takes forever to respond and why he often misses a lot of chats because he's not properly looking.
Oh, he's an idiot.
Like, that was the generous way of saying it. You were the blunt way of saying it. I was being generous. You were just like, Generous. Just stop it.
I'd be nice, but I can also be cold.
Is that what your mother said last night? Oh, fucking around. Oh, wait, hold on. Why am I singing it when I've got the soundboard for it? And here we go.
Fuck around, yeah, fuck.
My soundboard's the greatest soundboard.
At least you had more than just the clapping sound. Oh my god!
Or Phil going, yeah, or dicks, girls, dicks, girls, dicks, girls, dicks, girls.
I'm sick of hearing his fucking clapping.
Yeah,
applause.
It's like,
it's like, oh my god. It's
all
like,
the goddamn time, and it sounds like a fucking whale being strangled while Darkside Phil's masturbating on May 1st.
It just drives you mad. Like, I love how I was listening to Kina Casino about this, and they edited a lot of the applause out. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I fucking that was the biggest reason why I couldn't release part 2 of how Rich ruined his career. Was like, besides the rendering was fucked up, was the constant clapping. I couldn't, no matter how much editing I did, I couldn't get the clapping completely out, and it would also fuck up the voice audio too. So I was like, motherfucker. And I was like, you know what? I can't let this go out because I hate this fucking clapping. It ruins it, and it takes away from a lot of the commentary, because as we're talking, he'll start up the clap sound, and then I have to hit the pause button quickly. When I often end up missing said pause button. And it's like, oh my God. If you would just stop the fucking clapping all the time.
Exactly. It's like he only paid for that sound bite, and that was it. Or that's the only thing that came on his mixer. He's like, that's all I need.
Because it's like, and that's the thing that pisses him off, because he's got tons of other sounds. He's got tons of other ones that he uses. He's got the Mario Paint music. Boo doo boo boo doo boo 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 doo boo doo boo 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 doo. And it's like, you got these other fucking sounds, and I know you do because you use them, because then you start having Phil saying dicks and birds. And then while you have Chris Hansen going breast. It's like, come on, man.
Funny.
You got other sounds, use them. I'm getting, and RJ pointed this out real quick, and then I'm going to stop my rant. But RJ pointed this out. He only hits it when he thinks he's either a gotcha on somebody, or he's thinking he's making a pun that's funny. It's the only fucking time he hits it.
Exactly.
It's never actually in a comical moment where it would make sense, or say when he's starting up the live stream, or when I introduced you and I hit the clap sound. Yeah, because it makes sense. It's like, oh hey, look, like this live audience is cheering this person on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like and the difference is with and I know the soundbite gets used all the time, dumbass. The reason why dumbass works is because often the videos that I use it on when I'm calling someone a dumbass is because they said something that made them sound or look like a dumbass.
Yeah, but you don't spam it every
seconds.
Several times. Yeah, so I mean, that's okay, you know.
I hit it when I think it's funny, when or if I say something, because most of the time I end up saying something stupid, I usually get hit with that. And I'm like, oh, you can go fuck yourself, you're fired. And I'm so glad I added this. And that's where because I will admit, I stole this from Jay, but this is one of my other favorite sounds on the board.
Inform you that
what?
You're fired.
Vince McMahon.
Yeah, you know which one that particular one comes from?
What?
So you remember when they made Paul Heyman the manager of SmackDown? in the early 2000s. Well, like they had Vince McMahon come out and he gave him this whole speech. He's like, I'm here to use my First Amendment rights to inform you that. And Paul thinks he's going to get a raise. And Vince walks up and goes, "You're fired." And that's JR in the back going, "All right." Because Paul was so that's why I got that from. It's from the top 10 famous Vince McMahon firings. And that was number 10.
Oh, really?
And that was that one made me laugh my ass off because there was another one I was going to use. But when I heard that one, I was like, that one's perfect. I'm using that one. But anyhow, enough of me explaining how that works. Let's continue on with the video. Let me get, because I don't give a fuck about this. Let's see. Let me get into. There we go.
For exposure. Whatever the case.
I thought it was real.
Rich on his Facebook was firing back, claimed that the trolls that went after him will be made an example of. Quote, how this shit is handled on the internet has to be changed.
Review
and gonna make that
Positivity
change
USA.
happen. They know I have info and are scared, and they should be. The anonymity of the internet should not be a
Yeah, this is when I was working with Shadow's government, and I thought I was like safe from them. They made me safe. Fuck them. Shadow committed suicide, by the way. I didn't know how he died until recently.
safe haven for harassment.
Yeah, that portion I was not aware of either, and that's rather sad that he killed himself. But
Well, he was a criminal though too. So I mean, honestly, like when you have like Kino Casino said he had 37 felonies. I'm like, I mean, honestly, I don't care. Like you're a criminal.
I like to me, I just I look at it like this. You can always repair your life. You can always repair your image, but you can never repair anything if you in your own life, because that will be your biggest moment in life. Think about Robin Williams. What is he remembered for? He ain't exactly remembered for all the great movies. He's remembered for killing himself. And people will argue with me on that one. But a lot of people remember him not so much for the great works that he did and the amount of people that he helped and the amount of people he gave a job to. He's going to be ultimately remembered for taking his own life, for being in the state that he was in.
I disagree because he was a great comedian, and not only that, he was in such a bunch of great movies. The last thing I actually think about is that he's committed suicide, because I mean, like, yeah, obviously he was wearing a mask. You know, he was depressed, obviously, but it's not like you're acting like he was like a Chris Benoit, where he not only killed himself, like he killed his family too. You know, like
and that's going to be a whole ass argument for me on that one with Chris Benoit, but that's not the way I'm painting him. What I'm saying here is that when you think of Robin Williams, one of the first few things you'll find when you Google him is his death, because that was one of the biggest things that, in my opinion, honestly put a shadow on his career, just because of how sudden and how quick it happened, and people didn't know it.
Well, obviously we were all younger when he died, but
I was like 14 at the time of his death.
But I was in my probably 20s, like 20s or something. Like I was through a lot of his good movies and watched a lot of his HBO
specials,
stand up.
Oh my God. I was like, I can't remember which one it was, but it was the one where he was making fun of Joe Biden. And I thought that was fucking hysterical, because I was watching like a clip from that later. He's like, and then you always got rambling Joe Biden. It was me and Barack America. Barack Obama's not a superhero. Sit down.
Like, I love how he's just full of energy. It's like, obviously he's got to done some like coke, because he was like,
he was a cocaine addict. That is true. Early in his career, he was a cocaine and an alcoholic.
But like I said, honest, I mean, do I get a slight back of my head that yeah, it's sad he's gone? Yes, but I don't think about that all the time. And like I see him, I think of the good movies and everything like he was part of. So it's like
my biggest thing about it is that it's the fact that we will never get to see the other things he may have got to do in life, the other career, like the other things he could have got to do in life, he will never get to do. And the biggest thing, and I bring it up, is because I'm someone who lost their father as well. His children are not going to have their father around. And that's what I think about it. That's where my sympathy comes in, is people with children like that I feel awful for because they don't have their father anymore. And I'm not blaming Robin for killing himself. I'm not blaming him. There's no victim blaming going on whatsoever. I would never blame a suicide victim for it.
No, like obviously he's depressed. I mean, it's like a lot of times people hide it behind, like I said, the mask. You would never find in a million years the guy was depressed until you find out that he committed suicide, you know? So,
yeah,
like,
you never know until, unfortunately, we found out.
Yeah, exactly.
And to tie it into Shadow's government real quick is that I would never wish suicide on anyone. I would never wish that. The reason why I would never wish that is because of one little biblical belief I have: you reap what you sow.
And I think this whole thing started is when I said that he was a criminal, and then you know what? Out of 37 felonies, like, yeah, I can understand if you did your time,
which he did.
You did it. Oh yeah, but when he had 37 counts, unless it all came on the same beat, like I mean, on the same.
A lot of it actually was the same crimes, because a lot of it came from when he broke into the hospital impersonating a peace officer, if I remember correctly, because he was trying to be a gray hat hacker. Which, if you don't know what that means, that's someone that usually does sorts of malicious style hackings with moral intentions. The idea being that I am morally either superior or trying to prove a point.
But he was not really that. He wanted to get people's information. That's why, like, I think in this documentary that, I mean, that's where you got information for Rich, so he can dox that.
Yeah, like this is like to that point, I have no sympathy for him. I could understood the hospital thing to an extent, but what I don't understand is, and like this is the other portion where I think Rich should really take in a lot more responsibility. It's why the fuck did he go to him to begin with? Why?
Well, probably. I'll bet money. I'm not gonna advocate for Rich, but it's potentially that these people came to him. Probably. I could be wrong, but that's.
I don't actually remember on the documentary where it was said, and this is why I want to bring it up, because I think Rich either said that or spun it another way. That's why I'm going back to this part, because I want to comment on how he spins it. So let's continue.
Unquote. Those seeking Rich's demise were confident, enough so that they came forward claiming that they were the ones that sent the threat.
We have
which was bullshit. They were just whatever. They had nothing to do with
Lizard Squad here today. We also have Review Tech USA. Why did you guys make the death threat? Why did you get him kicked from this event? Don't you think that's going too far?
No, it wasn't going too far. It was actually our associate Daryl Boot who called up.
They're just making it up as they go. They had nothing. It was all the other dude. Yeah, it was our associate Bob to beat Bop Boop Bop beat up Pop Pow.
I do want to note something real quick. If you look at like Rich's setup, it's not the same as it was. Like there's no moving pictures in the background like he said he was going to have. You can clearly see the air conditioner right there, and the air conditioner is much louder into the microphone. Granted, I can't say too much about that because I've got a literal desk fan right here. But to be fair, I got the desk fan blowing on me because it's a fucking 100+ degrees in my house.
but also like he's a big time YouTuber and podcaster. He should know better. Like how like Keemstar pointed that out too. Like when Rich showed up, he's like, "Turn your AC off. It's getting into your into your mic." Like that's pretty bad. I like when a million sub channel doesn't realize that, you know?
Yeah, that's when you know you're fucking up. And also, I do want to clarify for the audience members. Once again, I was not blaming Robin Williams for his death. That's not what I was doing. I'm just simply stating I would never wish it upon anybody, and I feel like that partially stains the great works you do, because a lot of people will remember you for how you were born, how you lived, and how you die.
I didn't think you'd blame him at all. I just
I want to clarify it for the audience members, because I know some trolls will definitely take this for a run, be like, look at him, he's blaming Robin Williams for killing himself.
That'd be stupid.
Well, I mean, what do you expect trolls to do?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's why I've clarified that, and I'm going to move on from it. Do we want to listen to this conversation? Because I really want to get to what he talks about. I want to get to the doxing part. That's the part I really want to get to.
I do love the lizard with the top hat
and the fucking monocle and the pipe and the little fucking suit. And I was like, what the fuck?
That is funny.
There we go. This is where it gets to Shadow's government. This is the part that I want to talk about.
I actually have another Stream Deck, excuse me. So there will be more sounds, so you don't lose your mind.
Oh God, no!
Profiling,
please no.
You will still be, dude. You're about like a decade late for me having these people try to help me with trolls. I'm going to be talking about the most, okay, is cyber criminal investigation.
Shadow's government was a self-proclaimed white hat hacker. These are deemed ethical hackers who try to expose security vulnerabilities for the companies or individuals they serve or take contracts with. As much as anonymity is valued in this space, Todd Nicely, the person behind Shadow's government,
was a piece of shit. He started saying weird stuff to me, and it was when Mike Nuccitelli said, "I'm going to break your legs." I was like, "Nah, you boys need to go. You got to go."
Wasn't so anonymous.
Todd Nicely was arrested after impersonating a doctor at Somerset Community Hospital.
That's right, it was a doctor. Excuse me, it was a doctor, not an officer. So correction there. But just right off the bat, I want you to think about what he just said. The guy, one of his friends, Mike, claimed he's going to break his legs. You're telling me you wouldn't have thought about posting? Like, you posted every other threat you got. So why not post that one?
Well, probably because, I mean, these guys already got some information. He probably, obviously, he has no problem now since the guy's dead, but probably beforehand, probably was scared because of the information they might have on him. You know? Well,
I guarantee you his associates still have that documentation. I guarantee you the associates still do, because like a little fun fact, and I taught this to RJ as well, groups like that, they don't actually break up. What they do is they stop using whatever name made them famous, and they make up a whole new name, and they work underneath that name. A lot of ransomware groups do that. For example, DarkSide, the one that took down the Colonial Pipeline, they're Black Claw. So they're still around, but they're not as famous, because it makes it harder for the FBI to track them because of the different usernames and the different associates that are attached to those usernames. A fun fact about that. That's why I'm like, if you weren't afraid to drop them in, why weren't you afraid to post the threat? That's my point. Why wait all this time to now finally bring that up?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
You see where I'm just like, what the fuck? But anyhow, let's continue on.
says there's more to the story. Todd was a patient when he wondered just how secure the hospital is, both physically and technically. He runs an online conglomerate of computer hackers from all over the world called Shadows.
As it was quickly found out, Nicely also had several
Wireless,
criminal
yes.
convictions, mostly related to drug possession and driving, whether it be under the influence or with a revoked license. Rich had promoted a convicted criminal for reasons that soon became apparent when Shadows sent out a bounty. Quote, Shadows putting out a bounty.
No, that was way later. It's when I saw that was when I was like, nope. Actually, you know what though? Fuck him. But the information was fake anyway. Even the shit that he had before this. Now, this actually happened. This was after he supposedly got the information. Remember I did that, the whole thing, like, thank you, Anonymous, blah, 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 blah. Remember that? This was after.
Bounty on their heads. Easy money. Announcement. $200 for docs on the following. Big Cheese Crusaders Bullshit Group. They usually go by Review Hell USA, Review Mussolini, or Review something or other. Unquote. While this is hard to verify with complete certainty as it only exists through screenshots and videos, there is other...
No, June, he did post that. He did.
And now my whole argument about, like, no, we should not be wishing death upon people is slowly going out the window. Just slowly.
He obviously told those people that these are his big or detractors right there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like clearly is proof that Rich worked with this person, so he can't no more denying it like he had been doing for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I think the detractors brought up this point was that this documentary was in a way was forcing him to accept responsibility for what he did. But as you've seen, he hasn't exactly accepted responsibility. It's been more like, yeah, fuck this guy, I hate him.
Yeah, exactly.
And you see why I'm just like, why it's literally causing a vein in my head to twitch. It's that bad. You see why. Because it's just like, it's not all this guy's fault. You hired him to do it. It's not like he went out of his way to do it for you. If that happened, I could understand Rich going, yeah, no, I never asked this fucker to do it. I appreciate the help, but I didn't want this person's information. I just want this person to leave me alone. That's why I was handling it the way I was doing it. And I don't know what inspired him to do this.
Well, it was proven, I believe, that there was no money exchange. It was he wanted his service. Yeah, for favors. He wanted their service to get those people's information, and in exchange for a promo spot on his streams or videos. So, like, that's why he's like, this video is sponsored by Shadow Government.
Yeah, it's just, it's like with the big cheese thing. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, pay the guy $200, say, look, dude, I can't work with you anymore. Sorry. And just be done with it. And then this is like, this was just completely and utterly fucking stupid. Just completely stupid. But yeah, let's continue on, because like I said, we got a little bit more time left and we need to hit that J stuff. So let's
absolutely did post that.
Blow through this real quick.
That has yet to be wiped, like this Facebook post that can still be found on Rich's Facebook. Quote, I would like to thank Anonymous, our Predator, and Shadow's government for helping me proactively identify and locate Redacted, aka Review Hell USA. Excellent work, and I can't express
his first name, Jason. Jason's the most, I mean, respect for him doing that. Okay, but it's Jason. It's Jason Hoofed. I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
Here is what happened.
I didn't even catch that joke. That actually is kind of funny. Although I would actually die laughing. I would die laughing so hard if Rich's biggest detractor was his editor, J.U.
Yeah,
that would be the fucking greatest troll of all time. If this was all one giant fucking setup for like Jay's new horror movie. This is what the horror movie will be about. And that's the reason why Rich has been doing everything he's been doing. Could you imagine that?
That wasn't funny. They dropped that.
I'm gonna run with that theory now. That's gonna be my theory until proven otherwise. It's all set up for Jay's new horror movie. And that's why
Oh,
he's
God.
been doing this. Oh. I can see the comments now in the future and be like, this motherfucker. Watch as I'm right. Watch as I'm completely 100% right. And everybody in the comment section in the future of this mod is like, this motherfucker predicted the future. All in one joke. Oh, God. Anyhow, let's go ahead and move on to the meat and potatoes of the story, which is fuck you, Keemstar. I don't care about you. And if you get to butthurt, well, congratulations, you get butthurt. Let's get on to the J stuff, which should be. Oh God, here comes Review Positivity USA.
To make me quote unquote fork over the money. And it has a game breaking bug that Nintendo is putting out an emergency patch for. Hopefully my funding can allow you to not make a crucial mistake like this again. Glad I got to support your cause. Unquote. Tweet after tweet, response after response, Rich only dug himself in deeper. What goodwill he regained by donating the promised money was quickly being lost. And then he posted the video addressing it.
Hello everybody. Yeah, Jay and I were both in on that. Look, here is the issue. Should I have handled that like that? No. I will give an asterisk to this one though. What other industry, like imagine if there was a Does It Drive and a car was released and sure, you could drive it to the grocery store, but by the time you get there, all of your transmission fluid will be leaked out, but you could definitely drive it there. It drives. Like they said that Cyberpunk 2077 for the 8th gen consoles, they considered it playable without patches. You get what I'm saying?
No.
But should I have done that with that arrogant attitude and all that shit? No.
No, here's another asterisk to that one, is they said it was playable if you wanted to pull your hair out. If you want, if you consider having your teeth drilled without any sort of morphine, ripping your hair out with Freddy Krueger claws, and you like getting stabbed with a hot steak iron, that it would be a playable game. Which was basically the hint, don't play it. It was a comical way of saying don't play the game.
Oh, no. I mean, sadly, the thing is, like, Rich is kind of right about when they're like, there's not modern games, they really don't send out the games complete. A lot of times they'll send it out and they're going to have a day 1 or even a day 0 patch.
I love the day 1 fucking patches. But like the problem is he should have excluded Nintendo games. And that was a lot of people's argument was that you should have made it very clear what you were talking about. Because modern games included everything.
Well, even Nintendo has 1-day patches every once in a while. Like they a lot of times when I pop in a cart from the Switch, I'm like, okay, is this gonna have a patch or not? You know, like trying to remember. Oh, I think it was Luigi Mansion 2 that I didn't think it had a patch when I popped it in, but there's certain games they'll always patch something out. Like you can't, like, oh, I'm not gonna play this no more, and like a year later, it's not gonna. You don't think it's gonna have a patch. Let's say you're playing Super Mario Kart, and like you come back, and you don't think you're gonna have to patch that because they're gonna probably find a way to fix a glitch or a cheat or something. So, I mean, it's a good thing to have patches, but it also it gives the companies a cheat to get past their deadline. Like they're printing, they had to try to get this game to the print line. I'm like, all right, we got it to the print line, but we still had to finish the game on the other side. So they're still working on it and getting the day 1 or day 0 patch, you know? So it's like, it's a good and bad thing.
It's
I mean,
one of it's I think they the company put it best, or the organization, excuse me, put it best that it was stupid petty internet drama that shouldn't have happened. Granted, yes, money went to a good charity, but that money went right back to Rich, and it didn't help anybody. So in the end, all it did was it made Rich look bad, it made them look bad, and it was just a stupid situation all around. But this would also partially be the catalyst for what would set up for the main event that we're finally going to get to. I believe we're finally going to get to. I hope to God, if not, I will fucking find that goddamn timestamp and we're going to go to there because I want to talk about the J stuff and a little bit of the Keno Casino. And then we're going to, me and you are going to talk specifically about the 8-Bit Eric stuff, and then we're going to end the stream.
Yeah.
But anyhow, let's continue.
No way. I was wrong for that.
I'm a proud Does It Play $2,000 financial supporter. And there are games that don't need updates, but the one they showed, they were wrong about, and that was Super Mario RPG. They said that, look, here's a AAA game that doesn't need an update day one. It works right out of the box, except for the fact that it has a game-breaking bug, Super Mario RPG.
The top comment of this video disputes Rich's statement about it being a game-breaking bug, as it is still very much completable without an update. Even so, Does It Play provided other examples that went unchallenged. For these reasons, all the top comments were against Rich. Quote, Rich is way too into internet drama for a man his age.
Yeah, that video was unnecessary, I'll admit it. It was an unnecessary video.
As a longtime fan of your content, Rich, this video could have honestly stayed in the drafts. Been watching your videos for years.
It was a dumb video to make. It was unnecessary.
This is easily the most embarrassing thing you put out, and I'm saying that to a guy who gets high and takes his shirt off on stream. Unquote.
He read that so professional.
Yeah, you have to give June credit, because I gotta wonder, and I meant to ask him about that the day this video got released, because he was in the server talking to everyone about the video. I meant to ask him how he read that with a straight face. Like, how did he read that and not just go, oh my God. Maybe he's so desensitized to everything that's normal for him to read.
Or maybe he just had probably just say take or third take, because
probably, I wonder how many takes he has on the cutting floor where he's just like, and this saying to him, man, he takes his shirt off and what?
Exactly.
Like, okay, let me try to read that. It takes his. Why is a 50-year-old man taking his shirt off on a live stream? I gotta wonder how many streams June watched where Rich took his shirt off. I gotta wonder how many of those he saw. He's like, oh God, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this? I could be doing anything else right now, but I'm watching this. I'm watching an old man take his shirt off for money. Old man stripper over here. Review Stripping USA.
You know, people are paying for it, so like I can't talk too much about it because of I think his net is $200 for someone to for him to take his shirt off. So like,
oh God,
I would do it. I would do it. So I can't ban it. I can't talk shit about that.
Well, I mean, I'll put it to you this way. You should name his channel from Review Tech USA to Review OnlyFans USA. You gotta admit, that would make so much money if he would change his name to Review OnlyFans USA.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck, I might do that. You know what? Fuck you, Rich. I'm taking it for myself. Review OnlyFans USA, where I go on Kick and I review people's OnlyFans accounts, and the first one is 8-Bit Eric's.
Oh no! No, I mean you could go onto actual people's OnlyFans account. The thing is that I think a lot of times they have a lot of them locked up anyway, so I mean,
yeah, it's locked behind like paywalls.
Yeah, so you could go in there, but everything is
except for like maybe like a titty pic if you're lucky. Ooh,
yeah,
titties.
if you're lucky.
Yeah. I don't know why I said it like a 5-year-old. Like, ooh, titties, mama, titties. Fucking. this is when you know I need to stop taking Benadryl for my allergies, because I'm turning into a giggling fool when I'm trying to be a serious live stream. And I'm sitting over Review Titties USA.
Oh
Okay, let's get serious, AJ. Let's talk about Jay stuff and not reviewing his Titties USA.
Oh God.
Review Jay's Titties USA. Let's go. The clapping could have been better timed. I couldn't have timed that better. Oh shit. Let's continue.
I mean, look, man, a lot of the criticisms here and the things that June brought up, I mean, I refuted some stuff, I'll admit it, but a lot of it is valid, man. A lot of it is valid. Just keeping it real. If I was going to sit here and just like white knight everything, then I'm just being an asshole. How do you grow as a person if you're just going to sit here and be like, no, I was right about this? No, you're just a douche.
Sounding very familiar, Rich.
Commentary on only this situation. It was on Rich as a whole. Rich's streams only seem to be poisoned by his gimmicks, like the frequent use of a soundboard that's mainly used for this applause sound.
So anyway, there's a new lolcow podcast starring me. Let me go piss real quick. I promise I won't spam the applause. I know I'm overdoing it.
Does It Play ended up refunding Rich's money without his consent, announced by this tweet. Quote, unfortunately, due to reasons unknown to us, we have found ourselves in the middle of a bit of a social media drama we clearly shouldn't have engaged with. Unquote. This is how Rich's 2023...
There's one part where I'm going to partially defend Rich on this. You knew exactly what you did that got you in that drama. Don't fucking lie.
Oh, it's not a lie anyway.
Even so, 2024 was off to a much worse start. Rich's channel wasn't just dying, it was also being prepared for a feast, with the predators he thought he was toying with lying in wait.
And if anyone is responsible for Phil pressing the eject button, it's you fucking weirdos. And it's not the whole detractor community. A lot of them like me. But there is a portion that despise me. Because you know what it is, Jay. Jay's watching, my editor. They have channels that are dedicated to Phil. What's going to be the topic now?
Oh, yeah, I saw that live stream.
Like, how it happened I was wrong about, but did Phil drop out? Yeah. He used his wife as an excuse.
Yes, I talk about Phil in 90% of my streams.
In this situation, Rich is proposing that a consequence of an upcoming documentary on the infamous creator Darkside Phil by documentarian Mike Klum would be that the detractors of Phil will need to slow the production of content down, or they discourage Phil.
I wasn't referring to Sunny V2 or any of them. I'm talking about the other weirdos.
Phil from dropping the project.
Like
engaging in this conversation with detractors of Phil is a terrible idea for a multitude of reasons. First is that as Rich criticizes Phil, it becomes apparent that many of his criticisms are also applicable to himself. Second, he is engaging and antagonizing trolls. Third, his channel is on a steep decline. With his typical viewers appearing less and less, and more trolls gaining interest in Rich, their voices grow louder, and so does their control of him.
I know there's some people who exist.
And I fucking hated it. I hated it every time he would grab a damn fucking microphone, because you could hear it. Boop, 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 boop. Like, if I wanted to fucking listen to people sound like they're offbeat drumming, I'll go to one of my old churches.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, you figure he's been a YouTuber for the longest time, has a million subs, and he's still making stupid mistakes like that. Like,
and not only that, but look how the mic. So if you don't, because I'm not sure how much you know about microphones, and that's not to be insulting to you, because it took me almost a decade to learn how a lot of microphones work and how to properly set them up. A Shure SM7B, which is what he has right there, is a podcaster's mic. Unlike this, which is a singer's vocal mic that's designed for like studio recordings, it isn't actually meant to do live streaming work, but I use it because it's clearer than the other microphones that I have, because of its style of cardio pickup. This particular one he has right there, the capsule is all around and it has a foam piece, but you're meant to point the capsule to the capsule's rejecting up and down, with the capsule that actually records your voice pointing directly at you. Like you see on the microphones pointing directly at me, the capsule right there in the middle is picking up all the voice that I'm spinning towards it. Whereas the side capsule right here on the back end of it is rejecting the sound, that's the echo coming back from my voice. That creates the smooth sound that you're hearing. So my problems with him is that it's not properly coming through. The reason why his voice didn't sound clear is because he was having the mic pointed upwards towards his nose, which meant he was catching the nasal parts of his voice, the nasally end. That was my problem with it. And no matter how much I kept pointing it out, he wouldn't fucking listen. I'm like, that's not what you do with that microphone. You point it at you and you keep it. Either you turn the gain down significantly and have it about 2 inches away from your lips like this, or you turn the gain up significantly and you sit back about a foot away. Like I'm doing right here, where I have this, the gain's cranked up significantly, but I have EQs and a compressor on it, and I sit back probably roughly about maybe a little less than an arm's length. Why do I do that? Because my voice is pretty clear and is not overbearing and is not super bass heavy. And that's my fucking problem with him.
I think he stopped caring. He sees his channel dying, so he doesn't give a flying fuck. It's just like, I always like to try to evolve my channel.
Right.
Well, he's just declining, and to the point like he should just kill his channel and time to move on, because I mean, he doesn't even want to put anything on his main channel. It still blows my mind. He wants to make that he has his channel for his music, but another channel for streaming stuff. But he has a million sub channel that he's like, I'm done on that. Like there's people who wants that channel. They would die for a million sub channel right now.
Like, I'll be dead honest with you. If someone hired me, if they told me they could get me 1 million subscribers if I killed the maker of StreamYard so I can make you use OBS, I guarantee you that person would be on the 5 o'clock news, because 1 million subscribers is 1 million fucking subscribers. Like, that's big bucks going. And even if you're making like a 1/10 of how many subscribers you have, that's still $100,000 every month hitting your bank account. $100,000 fucking dollars. And I guarantee you it's making more than $100,000 every month. And this was brought up by RJ, and I apologize for interrupting. This was brought up by RJ, and I meant to clip this part and I forgot it. But me and him were talking about, and he stated, and I believe his offer still stands, that he is willing to pay Rich $5,000 in cash right now to buy that channel.
I still don't think that's nowhere near any amount of money you need for that. Because, like I said, if it was me, I would say at least $1 per sub. Like, and we said this before, we were thinking maybe up to $4 a sub, so that's $4 million. So we have no chance in hell.
Yeah, unless you're like a much richer person. Unless you're like an Elon Musk kind of person, where you just have fucking, where you wipe your ass with $100 bills.
Yeah, but there's no way in hell, like, he's going to accept a $5,000 bid for his channel. Like, he's going to say it's worth a lot more than that.
Well, obviously, but like the point being is that if you're not going to do anything with it, you're just going to let it sit and rot. Someone might as well buy the channel and do something with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, someone should, but you had to be, I think you had to be a multi-millionaire willing to drop money to do it, because, like, it's stupid. Like, I brought this up about another guy that I was actually trying to push onto the Local Live podcast when they allegedly was going to fire Boogie.
Yeah.
Their name is Tommy NC 2010.
Oh yeah,
And
I still gotta do that video on him because oh my god.
So I was talking to the Rose, and I was like, "Hey, why is it he has another channel that has this podcast that I think it doesn't even have 100 subs, but he has a podcast on there that he does every week or so." I'm like, hold on. He first was doing it on a channel that has 100,000 subs, and then he moved it to a second channel. But I think at least he was doing something with that channel. But then he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna pull this and put it on a second one." Like, and right now, like I said, I don't even think he broke 100 subs. So, like, obviously, it's not catching on. I would move that podcast back to your main channel. But like, why are these people? They're like, "Oh, this channel's blown up to so much subs. Oh, I want to start over with something else." Like the Rose told me one point that, hey, because I like to talk about wrestling and video games. He's like, "Well, we should have a separate channel for one and one for the other." It's like, I don't have time to run two channels. One, and like that's why eventually I just put as my channels Casey is Raw, Gaming and Wrestling, because I kind of stole the from derailed news and podcasting. So I was like, "Hey, I'm gaming and wrestling. So, like, if you want to talk about video games or wrestling, you can come to me." So, instead of having a second channel, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, oh, I'll start a brand new channel from scratch, and like, it's been up to 4 years where I'm at. Like, I'm not gonna want to spend another 4 years to get somewhere close where I'm at now.
Oh, I was going to say also YouTube. Well, YouTube in the past would usually punish you for being extremely experimental. Back then, YouTube now praises your work if you're experimental. My show, Epic or Trash, right now is a perfect example of what happens when a channel experiments. Completely off the beaten path of what my channel was normally known for, which is like doing horror cosplays, telling horror stories, and doing drum covers. Now I'm doing this whole reacting show, and I've helped a lot of other creators. A lot of creators have helped me. I've built friendships with people that I otherwise wouldn't have, and I've created a whole Discord space where there's tons of people who are not only my friends, but those who actually work with each other to make content. I've seen friendships blossom because of it, and people who otherwise wouldn't have met have now had an opportunity to meet, and I've seen it grow. And it's nice to, because like I post about it every month or so when I get it, when I get like my analytics for the month, like the previous month, and I always say thank you. I don't care if I only got like 2 viewers that watched or 5,000 viewers. Well, actually, it would be probably 2 and 2,000, but who cares? The numbers don't really matter to me as much. More is the fact that I appreciate every single person who took time out of their day to watch my stuff. Like RJ was greasing me up, and if you don't know what that means, he's basically praising or worshiping is another way of looking at it. And he was talking about my drum covers. He's like, I watch this guy's drum covers every single time it comes out on Thursday or Friday, and it's like every single time I'm always looking forward to it. And I kind of had a tear in my eye because it's nice to note that there is people who appreciate my work. And it ties into what you're saying, is that we appreciate what people appreciate about us. We love the fact that people love our content and they show us support, whether it's financially on screen with me or with you with the financials, or it's just the people hitting the like buttons, hitting the shares, hitting that sub button. Yeah, leaving the comments, the live comments or the after VOD comments or whatever, it's always appreciated. But Rich, on the other hand, demonstrates someone who doesn't really appreciate that, who doesn't understand that there is. I can understand not wanting parasocial relationships. I can understand that. Because I was kind of in a boat like that myself. So that's why I make it clear to people that if we are friends, and you can divulge information to me if you want to. And if I feel comfortable, I will divulge mine as well. I'm not saying I'm going to go befriend 14-year-olds. That's not what I'm saying. Look, I'm not Dr. Disrespect here. But what I am saying is, like, I tell minors that follow my TikTok stuff, and I know there's minors that watch my YouTube. I know, I've seen the analytics, obviously. And I tell them, like, all the time, like, if you want someone to vent to, my DMs are open to vent to, because I understand what it's like to not have someone to vent to. And I'm not saying I'm going to be your therapist and I can fix all your problems, but it's nice to have someone who's willing to listen. Not someone who's going like Rich, who will take you for a ride like he did with so many people, including me and Sexy Coco, JKB, 8-Bit Eric, let's say Big Cheese, and a few others. Who's going to take you on a fucking ride and wreck your life. As he's done. It's the documentary right here is proof of that. Am I wrong?
I mean, there's several times that he would talk shit about his own subs or viewership. I'm like, God damn, like, I can understand if you responding to the people or like saying stuff malicious. Like, I see something malicious that's really bad, I block them or ban them. But if it's fun little trolling, I'm able to laugh at something like that. But like
for example, Irish Dumbass, his actual username is the Irish Bastard, but I gave him the Irish Dumbass because we were watching a horror movie together, and he was confused on how the horror movie went. He didn't understand it, so the joke was that I was calling him a dumbass whenever he said something that wasn't true about the movie. And that was the banter we trade back and forth. And me and him are best friends. And so, and I gave him the name Detective because he does a lot of research for me. Him and a few others in my Discord do a lot of research for me ahead of time before I do a lot of this content. They do the heavy work. It's not me. And that's why I give them a lot of praise.
Well, that's why I was hearing that when AJ was promoting that debate between you and Devious Dave Rose, and like you got some information about Dave. It was like, I was like, oh my god, like I never brought up the name Joe Cronin to you. I don't think so.
No, you never did. That's why I said my friends in the server, Irish, RJ, and Sheriff, have this research. They, especially Irish and RJ, do a lot of research for me, and so does Dr. Wampa. And I call him Detective SJW because he's a leftist, and that's the joke, is that all leftists are SJWs. That's the joke. Like, he calls me a conservative dumbass, so I call him a social justice warrior leftist. That's the banter we trade because we're friends and we trade that kind of stuff. But me and him, when we talk personally, a lot of it's we talk personally and we're good friends. I'm not saying everybody there is my best friend, but I'm friends with these people because I know what it's like to be in a parasocial relationship, and I do not want that for my server, period. So when I say I'm friends with you, that means I'm friends with you. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like me and Eric are a great example of that as well. Granted, I haven't been exactly the greatest friend to him, but we're still friends.
Well, I'm actually in talks. I'm trying to get him on my channel. Like, I want to do an interview with him. I told him we don't have to talk about drama. I would like to talk about your gaming history because, like, I have this bit I do where I talk to some of the people I know and ask about their gaming console history or their gaming history, and we'll talk about it, and it brings us back to the past. And it's always fun to talk about video games and arcades. So it's like, and everyone came up at different times. And I was talking to a guy I'd done some streams with. His name was Filthy Mouth Gamer. And and he's a little older guy, but he's into video games and arcade games. And we were talking about how the future of retro collecting and stuff like that. And like, I was like, dude, it'd be nice to get someone, obviously not underage, but young, and talk about like what they like, and if maybe how far back retro they like to go. It's like, for me, like, I like to go back almost all the way back, where to the point where like I like, some people think it began with the Atari 600, but that's not true. I mean, you had the Odyssey one, that, and even those were like circuit boards, and then you had like it's considered the, I think it's the Fairchild Channel F. And I got that. That's considered the first console with an interchangeable cartridge. So I like to go, and I like weird stuff like that, learning history about that.
Yeah,
But
it's like
I'm-
and I don't mean to interrupt you. It's like with me in technology, me in music, I know so much about historical history behind like the drums. I'd spent decades studying the drums and understanding not just how to play them, but the history. And I'm going to give you like a short example, and then we're finally going to get to the J part and end the stream there. But this is the final part of this conversation piece that we're doing here. Is that for example, the snare drum is considered the center of the drum sound. It's the main thing everybody hears. When the two big things you hear in every beat is the kick drum and the snare drum. Those land on the 1 and the 3 of every beat, of almost every beat, depending, again, the style of music. But we're going to use rock music, for example. Those usually land on the 1 and 3 of every beat, and then the 2 and 4 is your snare. Why is the snare so significant? Is because it was a war drum. It was originally called a war drum. Why was it called a war drum? Because a lot of battalions from the British, French, German, and even the American revolutionists played the snare drum. When you heard the sound of the snare drum, you knew what was coming next, because you knew the militia falling behind them was about to kill you, and that snare was letting you know your Grim Reaper is arriving.
See, that makes no sense to me, though. If you really think about it, it's like, hey, we're coming to get you. You figure like, hey,
it comes from the African American, the African traditions of playing drums, but the difference is their drums were usually a lot bigger and had a lot more bass sound. So when you heard them, you thought the ground was rumbling when they came marching in. Whereas the idea with the snare drum was, because war was being made into being conformal, which you know the I forget the name of the convention, but it keeps you from using like mustard gas and explosive ammunition in war. The Geneva Convention.
I'm wondering what war they're like. Hey, you know the war drum? I think we need to ex-nate the war drum.
That would be the Revolutionary War. That was the Revolutionary War to ex-nate it, because originally. And again, this started with France and Britain in the 100-year war. Because the thing is, the soldiers didn't really fear the sound of the snare drum. It was the civilians who feared that. Because that, you knew what was going to happen next. Your house is going to get destroyed. You're going to lose your supplies. Your family's going to starve. And you're potentially going to get killed.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, you hear that? Like, well, something's coming. Like I said, that you got the element of surprise is not there no more.
Well, because they didn't believe in guerrilla warfare, it was considered, and it's still considered, a cowardly tactic. Because the idea is it demonstrates your lack of greater intelligence. But obviously, without that, I don't necessarily know if the Star Spangled Banner, Old Glory, which is hanging right behind me, would be hanging like it is today. Because the Continental Army or the Revolutionary Army depended heavily on guerrilla warfare tactics, which is
just imagine if nowadays, like the military, like the army, is like, hey, we can't officially go out to this battle line until we have our war drum guy go out there. It was like you can't go out there without having the drum guy out there or the flute guy. Like, gotta have one of those guys out there before we have start shooting using our rifles.
Because the other thing it did besides causing fear was that it was motivation for the soldiers. You marched to the beat of the snare drum, which meant everyone walked in unison. So everyone fired in unison. It wasn't one guy firing and the other guy firing. Everybody fired at the exact same time, meaning you were going to get pelted with hundreds and hundreds of musket rounds per every time that snare was slapped. And it was pretty frequent with the snare rolls and the flams, but that's a whole historical lesson that requires a whole ass stream to explain, and we are not here to teach history. That is not my job. We are here to make fun of this dumbass over here, and we have gone so far fucking off left field. We hit left field, went right field, came back, hit left field again, went to the moon, flew all the way to the moon, and then hit the moon, went all the way back to Earth. And then Stephen King walked up and said, "Ew, me your shit." So now that I've roasted the shit out of myself, let's finally go ahead and talk about the JKB stuff, because clearly it's a little bit further after this. And here we go. Now we're into the J stuff.
Where's the lie with that? That is facts. I can't refute that one from June.
This is never a good sign. And Jay, Rich's editor, saw what others did. And so Jay continued to try to convince him to keep doing the news videos. But Rich did not relent. And things went from bad to catastrophic.
Listen, I'll end it with this. My fat ass will go fucking bankrupt, get in the prettiest suit. I will go there with this. I am going to... Me and Jay are on good terms now. I'm going to recuse myself from saying any more stuff about this. I will show it here, but I'm not... There's nothing else that need to be said. And I like the fact that Jay and I are on good terms, and I'm glad this is a part of my past. I'm not going to go, this is something new, so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Smile on, because you know what?
They're hear that they're already on the outs, or again, or I mean, I'm hoping to not, like, I don't want to see people at odds. So if they're at peace with each other, fine, great, you know. But like Jay, if this is another breakup situation, Jay just needs to just say, that's it. Like, how many times for me, I like, if someone fucked me over, like, I'll forgive them, but you don't forget.
Yeah, forgive, but don't forget. It's like,
yeah, but
Eric was talking about in his server, and I don't mean to interrupt you. Eric was talking about in his server, and I was talking with him about it, and he's like, I literally stated in the video that, Jay, you need to quit. Rich has fucked you over. It's fine, you forgive him. Like, I'm not going to forget this fat fuck because he hasn't apologized to me for the things that he does, that he did to me, and refuses to. And I don't think he's ever going to apologize, so what's the fucking point of me forgiving him if I'm not going to receive an apology? To which I disagree with that logic, but I also understand Eric's rage at the fact that he was painted as somebody he wasn't, because he's not the guy that fucked Rich over. If anything, he technically gave Rich an opportunity to clear his name, but he refused. But
No,
that's besides the point.
The thing is with Eric, like, he was seeing the information, like, he had to choose between his friend JKB or Rich, and yeah, he was friendly with Rich, but he trusts Jay a lot more. And then Eric was on Rich's Facebook, and when Rich decided to put that stupid post out where he was like calling him a parasite, I was like, okay, I mean, that's when it's just like, I agree with Eric. Like, I don't care about the firing, but you keep calling your friend who you worked with him for 6 years, and then you call him a parasite.
Someone you've been friends with for 15 years. 15 years, who have one of the most interesting friendships I have ever seen in my entire life. And this is from someone that I have some weird friendships, I'll be dead honest. But this right here, it goes beyond from petty. This is just straight up being a prick. For the sake of being a prick.
I agree.
And I gotta tie it up again with the Eric thing real quick, and then we'll let it continue playing on. I love that he says he's gonna recuse himself. Instead of, you know what, this was an opportunity, like, I'm gonna take my opportunity to show my full side, why I thought the way I thought when I did these things, and apologize. Because he has in my opinion, he had a perfect opportunity to apologize to not only Eric, but to Jay, and to, like, at least a monicum of saying, I'm sorry. Like, forgive me for what I did. I know I fucked up, and I know I fucked up big time, but I want to make things right again. And I know that it will never go back to the way it was, but I want to, at least wise, stay on the good terms. Like he stated earlier.
I agree.
But no, he's gonna, and I'll let it play through so everyone here can see it. He says nothing.
But it's also, well, I think it's better. I think it's better for him also to say nothing as well. I mean, yeah, he could have done that, but it's also a good thing he said nothing, because sometimes he opened his mouth, he puts his foot in his mouth though too. So
I always like the phrasing, he takes his head and he shoves it up his ass to sniff his own farts.
But I mean, I think he was just protecting himself from saying something stupid.
I suppose it's possible. It's just, to me, it's frustrating because of and I'm going to bring up the first stream is when RJ popped in and showed us that Jay said, like, according to the police, it was a New York IP address that hacked his computer.
Mm-hmm.
And like how much that looks on Rich. I'm like, because like Rich can say he's innocent all he wants, but it doesn't necessarily mean he is innocent. Part of me wants to believe he's innocent. Part of me wants to believe that he didn't actually do it, that he didn't go through with it, that it was all bark and no bite. But there's another part of me that believes he did do it, or he had someone do it for him.
I mean, well, we talked about this before. Like, how many times did he done wrong, and then he's like, "Oh, he will never go there." But then he also worked with shadow government to get information to dox people.
Yeah.
So he's willing to go there, but not, try to get into his computer that he gave away to Jay, and fuck with him through that way, and wipe out his money. Even though we know right now Rich is having money issues, so
it's like, honestly, I don't really know. I really don't know.
It's like I compare him to OJ a little bit. Like there's so much evidence towards him, and like the only thing he's got the bloody glove and he couldn't put on, but he also didn't take his arthritis medicine, so the glove is not going to fit. Oh, like
yeah, the glove. If I understand, the glove was, I think it was something happened where it was exposed to the weather elements, and leather being notorious for shrinking and expanding in hot or cold weather, basically made it to where the glove couldn't properly fit anyhow. Like it wouldn't even been able to fit on an average gentleman.
And having blood on it, covered in blood, that probably didn't help. And then if, like they were saying, if when he's not taking his arthritis medicine, his hand swells up. So like that's another tactic, you know. So
there's so like in this particular case, I agree with you. It kind of looks like the OJ case. We're not saying he's guilty, but we're also not going to say he's innocent either. It's the jury's out. The jury's out until there's more evidence to lean one way or the other. Because like I'm going to go back again to like the last video me and RJ did. And very shortly, we're getting ready to end the live stream, but I want to bring this portion up real quick before we finish up with the J stuff. He asked me what I thought before that information came out, when me and you had that holy shit moment.
Yeah.
I told him I was 20% convinced, and I said now I'm like 60% convinced, because that's some pretty damning evidence. However, I am aware that there is tactics to spoof people's IP addresses like that. However, those are pretty expensive and pretty hard to pull off, because it would require that you have access to the person's router. And I doubt Rich was stupid enough to allow people access to his router. But
I just realized I mean, all those he changed his fucking story so many times about the Dropbox deal. He's like, well, you know, my second phone fell off from off the cabinet.
Into the Best Buy
bag. And then I accidentally hit yes on the second. What does it say?
On the acceptance, where it says, you authenticate that you are the person accessing it at said location.
Yeah. But then later on, he says he didn't have a second phone, or that he didn't know what the hell a burner phone means. Like not a lot of people have a second phone unless it's a work phone, you know?
Right.
Like that's like, if you have a second phone that's not a work phone, then it's usually for, you know, bad reasons, more ways than one. Like maybe if you're having an affair and you're trying to keep
keep it on wraps, so you've got like a second phone, usually an iPhone, because iPhones are pretty hard to get into, and they are mostly privacy focused.
Or if you're doing something pretty bad, you have a burner phone, you know.
So like a cheap Android that you can just chuck when you're done.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, I didn't have a burner phone. Like, but you had two phones, and like you had one, supposedly just for the Dropbox. So I was like,
and a commenter, and to add to that, a commenter brought up that if by his logic, if he didn't have this two-factor authentication, that meant his daughters would have been able to access it and seen the porn folder. And I made the statement in the video, and I partially cut it out because I didn't properly argue it. I didn't properly explain myself, I should say. So here's the proper explanation. The commenter stated that if there was no two-factor authentication, then his daughters would have more than likely would have been able to access it. So not only were their underage bikini photos were in there, but they were in there with pornographic material, which the YouTuber covering it called Bad Moments in Locale History. Fuck you, I'm not a creep. because a motherfucker called me a creep, so fuck you. Anyhow, he stated like that's illegal in the U.S. He goes, but I don't know because I live in Europe. And I was like, no, it's not a crime in the U.S. It's being made into a crime, but currently as it stands, it is not a crime to have porn like that and a minor access your account and they see porn. That is not illegal. However, morally speaking, that is horrific. Because porn, just like gambling, actually has a very serious negative side effect on development, especially when it comes to sexual orientation and sexual connections to lovers. That is scientifically proven.
But Kino Casino, they brought up a good point. What's the point of having a Dropbox when their phones nowadays have like some backups where
through a cloud
through the cloud. So it was like there's no real reason having the Dropbox that he was.
I'm not going to say he was masturbating to it. However, I will say that like, because from what I understood, like Jay explained, like the Dropbox was just like the Google Drive. Usually they sent work through it. So I was like, yeah, I can understand if you had like a major subscription to the Dropbox. I can understand that. I can understand the porn stuff. Even if it's a joke, I've been sent porn material before as a joke, and I've told those people I don't find it funny. If it's like a joke at like a husband, a wife joke, those are fine with me. But if you're sending me legitimate pornographic material, you can expect me to hit that block button because I'm not interested.
But if it's in the same folder with
the bikini pics,
like then it's more shady. But it's like
but you gotta take him at his word though, and think about it, he's changed the story how many times? Like 5?
Yeah, but Jay, Jay brought it up because he accessed it because he had the computer with the Dropbox on it. So
and that was one other thing I talked about with RJ, and I apologies for interrupting you, but that was one other thing I brought up was that how did Jay get access to it? If there's a 2-factor authentication to it, doesn't matter if it was signed in. The fact that it was from another IP address should have triggered that 2-factor authentication and say, hey, you're being signed in from such and such address. Is this you? And if so, here's the verification code. Which means Rich knew for a fact that stuff was in there. He knew for a fact that he shouldn't have had that stuff in that Dropbox, period.
No, honestly, if they were using it to transfer from one phone to another, you figure, I'm done transferring the shit over to the other phone. Maybe I need to delete these photos now, especially with their bikini pictures of
your alleged stepdaughters. Like and one other argument I have for that then is if you're going to use a third-party service like Dropbox, maybe because you don't want to pay the Google Drive or you don't want to pay Apple or whatever, right? You don't want them potentially calling the police because they do have that service now. But so I can understand not wanting to get spied on necessarily. Why didn't you make them a separate Dropbox account for their phones? Give them access to the email and the password and say, hey, keep up with this. I'm not going to keep up with this. This is your responsibility, not mine. Why didn't he do that?
Well, I'm still staying on, once they've done transfer it over, he should have deleted the pictures because, why are you going to keep, how many, let's say, is it 1 or 2 pictures of just them? And let's say it's them and then, is it just 2 pictures, supposedly?
According to both him and Jay, it was 2 pictures.
Then maybe it's blown out of proportion because unless it's 2 pictures of that and then the porn.
It was 2
Yeah,
pictures
that
plus
doesn't
the
look
25 pictures, GIFs, and videos of I'm going to say like this African Americans on white women. I'm trying to be PC about it. African American after male on male, female on female, basically LGBTQ plus porn and straight porn. Allegedly was in the Dropbox. I'm going to say allegedly again. I don't care about monetization as far as ads because I don't get those anyhow. And if people want to support me, another cheap shot, you can support me through the links below. Anyhow, the point being here is that I think it's just really fucking weird that he didn't make them their own account. And the fact that nobody's brought that up except me kind of boggles my mind a little bit. It's like, why does nobody else thought, why the hell didn't he just make them their own separate Dropbox? Because Dropbox allows you to have other accounts underneath your parent account. So why not just like, here's the, so that way you don't have to pay for it, but your stuff's in here. This is your private access. This is your email. It's tied to this email. It's tied to this password. If you want to use it, if you want to store your stuff here, it will be stored underneath the cloud. So you have my 2-factor authentication protecting you from other people who may access it. But like, I personally cannot access it. I'm like, you could have done that. It is possible with Dropbox, but who knows?
Well, like I was listening to Kingdom Casino, and he was saying that, well, which one is the pedophile? The one who didn't look at the photo, or the one who was trying to look through, trying to get some dirt on me? Like, well, I mean, Kingdom Casino brought up the good point. It's like, well, you're the one who created that folder, so you are.
Like, by that logic, yeah, I agree with them. Like, by that fucking logic, you're the creep here, nobody else.
Like, oh, because they stumbled across, like, when they hacked into it, like, oh my God, there's some pictures of I shouldn't look. Oh, I'm a pedophile now, you know? Like,
not only that, but am I really supposed to believe two people who are just about as tech illiterate as you can get without actually being extremely tech illiterate somehow hacked in your PC that's at Jay's house and got in your Dropbox? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? JKB, whose admins, both of them are IT professionals, been working the business 1-2 cents for over 20 plus years, and Sexy Coco, who you, by the way, doxed like an asshole, who's been working in the field for nearly 10 plus years, who do cybersecurity on the daily, really was dumb enough to open up his fucking Wi-Fi for his friend Andy to hack his computer to get your Dropbox. You see how stupid that sounds?
He was saying that he never doxed anyone, but he was proven
wrong 3 times.
Yeah, so he's proven a liar.
So you see, like, the frustration that a lot of people have. Yeah, let's
I'll be right back.
Yeah, let's take a short break. Let's take a short break. I need to get something to drink. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we on break?
Yeah.
Okay. There needs to be walking. I see him whining.
You think it's like a 7 minute? Is it gonna be like a 7-minute walk or something like that?
5 minutes, give or take.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, so everyone will be back in about 5 minutes. So get some drinks, get some popcorn, whatever you need, and let's go ahead and we'll get ready to wrap up this stream tonight.
age must be, boy. You're probably a sleepy puppy. You're probably a sleepy puppy. I love you too.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back.
Sorry, I had to walk Duke.
Oh, you're good, brother.
Party.
And I need to get me something to drink anyhow. So, to get back on where we were left off, unbelievable. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours now. Unfucking believable.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like it.
It really doesn't. It didn't feel like that at all. This has been a blast of a stream, honestly. And I want to thank everybody who's come out and watched it. We've had over 15 viewers so far. And while I may not seem like much, I appreciate every single person who came out. I appreciate all the comments, all the likes, because I've gotten a lot of likes. I've seen that there's been a lot of people have shared it. And I've just been seeing a lot of support on the Discord as well. So I appreciate everybody who's come out and watched this. So I think me and you should get ready to wrap it up by watching the rest of what June has to say about the whole Jay situation. And I think we should give our final thoughts, because this, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be the final time I talk about Review Tech USA and the drama that involved me. I'm glad I wasn't mentioned in the documentary, because that was going to be hell for me otherwise. And then I'm going to have I would have had some beef with June about that. I'd be like, you motherfucker, you're going to talk to me. I was in your damn server. I'm in your damn server. I sent you a friend request and I've tagged you multiple times. You've responded to comments from me. Well, fortunately, I was not in it. Praise the Lord. I actually was worried I was going to be in it. And I was like, I don't see this ending well for me. So let's go ahead. Let's watch the rest of it. And then we're going to get ready to give our final thoughts about Rich's stream and the overall arcing story of Review Tech USA, a rich history of failure. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and finish it off. Oh, that's not what I want. Piss off. I forgot music playing anyhow.
An absolute shitstorm coming out right now.
It'll destroy your reputation, and I'll get publicity out of it because a giant pussy from Canada wanted to sue me because his feelings were hurt. Like, you come here.
It's the fucking irony.
February, Jay was no longer working for Rich, and his firing was far from amicable. 8-Bit Eric, a relatively small channel, was covering the situation as it was evolving in Jay's Discord. And just as Rich had done to Big Cheese, he was making Facebook posts cryptically talking about the situation.
From Richard on his Facebook, it says, I need to be able to afford my rent. Proceeds to buy parts to upgrade the gaming PC I gave him, and dude got paid by me on top of that. I guess money magically floated out of thin air. Miracles do happen. Man, oh man, get fucked, my boy.
Rich deleted that post and apologized. But in that same apology, he still belittles Jay.
There's trolls already mad that Jay and I are cool again. I've already seen it. There's a guy who blocks me, then unblocks me to just complain, then blocks me again because he's mad that Jay and I are speaking. I'm not kidding.
Richard comes out and says, you know what? I deleted the post. Instead of making a public shit show, may the best man win. And by best man, I mean I'll win.
No way. I won't have it. No, it's done, dude. I'm absolutely positively done with it.
Do better without parasites attached to me anyway.
This was quickly gaining attention, and there are a lot of smaller supports that build up this falling out. Though it appeared sudden, there were a few reasons Rich was combative. On Rich's side, he was annoyed that Jay did not want to create shorts for Rich's streaming channel. The reason Jay refused was because of lack of direction in this request. Rich's streams are full of dead air and generally lack substance. To ask Jay to scrub multi-hour long streams for usable clips, it did not win him over. But that was while Jay was still employed. There were also elements around the firing, like that the firing came from a text message, and that Jay was fired on his birthday. There was also the matter of the retainer. As Jay stated, they had a deal in the case that Jay was fired that he would be owed a full month's pay. Rich initially did not want to honor this.
Casey, if you got fired on your birthday,
to work with and
you got fired on your birthday, you can't tell me you wouldn't be pissed.
This, he said I was extorting, and he paid me half, leaving me in shock. He then brought the PC, which wasn't a gift. It was meant for me to work on.
Worse, honestly.
Yeah,
I think the money part.
It's just fucking.
Because honestly, I don't go to work and say it's my birthday, but they have a TV that says, "Oh, this is this person's work anniversary. It's this guy's birthday." So even if I try to hide it, it still gets ratted out. But like, I'd be more upset about the agreement that he was gonna get paid. That Rich decided he was gonna just only pay partial of it.
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna pay you the full amount that I was supposed to pay you." Like,
and then he says that apparently, I guess what Jay said, that he's gonna have to tell them the truth. No, he had to tell them that you're not gonna pay me, and like, what, are you gonna extort me? Because well, it was extorting when he's telling the truth that you guys had a retainer and you decided not to honor the retainer. So
that's not extorting. Extorting or blackmail in that particular sense would be that Jay had some kind of special information about you that no one else would know or would be considered extremely private, for example, nudes. And he's saying, if you don't pay me this certain amount, I'm going to post these or leak these out, and it's going to ruin your reputation. That's blackmail or extortion.
Exactly.
Demanding you to, wasn't even demanding, it was asking you to uphold your end of the business agreement of the contract you signed, is not extortion.
No. So, Rich is just like, he's trying to be the victim, honestly, but I was wondering for a while, I was like, why is he saying that what, you gonna extort me? Like, I was like, for the longest time, then I got pieced together that's what it was, that Jay said that he was gonna have to go on air and said that Rich ain't gonna pay me my money that he promised.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, it was like, okay, I can understand. See, I wouldn't say understand, or I would just say, well, that's where Rich would say that. So
it's just, it's unfucking believable how he just, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It's like, what more could honestly be said that hasn't already been said? I mean, to be honest with you, it's so fucked up.
But like, I don't like how the Locale podcast, they pretty much attacked Eric when he's like, "Oh well, you're only making this amount of views when you're not talking about Rich, but when you're talking about Rich, you get 10,000 views." Like, I'm like, okay, like, what's wrong? Like, he's talking about what's going on. He's talking about what he's going through. Like, hey, if he had something to add, why not?
And not only that, but how's that fair that Rich is allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants to on any platform he's on, but the moment Eric wants to fire back on his platform, he's not reaching out to other creators and talking shit. He is making his own video and he states his own opinions and he makes it clear that he's going to defend himself. But that's somehow totally in the wrong, and he is totally evil. He's the most tremendously worst president of all time. He's Joe Biden, and we must bang on him because he's Joe Biden. It's like this motherfucker named Keem over here. Go fuck yourself, racist bastard. And not only that, but then Boogie had no fucking room to talk because that motherfucker fake cancer. Wings barely had it. Wings was the only one that was reasonable in my opinion, and Tommy C demonstrate how much of a prick he was.
He was a dick.
Because
Keem was too. Like you said, I grew to respect Wings a little bit more.
Because Wings was asking questions. Wings was like, I'm legitimately curious. No, let's hear this man's case out. Rich got to lay his out. Why can't Eric lay his out?
At first I said to you, I thought Wings and Tommy C was useless. I learned that I changed my opinion about that. I don't think Wings is useless at all. I do find him funny. I actually think he's kind of open-minded a little bit too. So I'm learning to like Wings now. I give props to Wings, but I think everyone else was dicks. I think Boogie was.
And then let's add on.
Tommy's was worse.
And then let's add on top of the fact that they decided to bring on Melanie Mack and start that whole bullshit. It's like, look, I don't like Melanie Mack. I'm just going to make it clear right the fuck now. I've said it in the past, but to make it very crystal clear, I do not like her. I think she's a prick who uses Christianity as a grift. I honestly believe that. Why do I believe that? Because she does everything in the exact fucking opposite of what the Bible says to do. The exact fucking opposite. And before we start that up, Jesus made it very clear to love your enemies as you love your brothers. And that is how you show the love of Christ. Matthew 43.
See, the thing is, I'm glad you brought that up because I have known people who are big time Christians and they're like one of the biggest assholes on the planet. I worked with people, there was one time when I was working at Sears, I was having cold and allergy attacks at the same time.
Oh, God.
And I was asking my manager, it's like, can I go home? I'm sick as fuck. I wasn't trying to get out of work. I was just sick.
Yeah, you're done. You're fucking done.
Yeah. Or I went through a bad breakup and I was emotionally fucked up. And I was like, dude, I'm emotionally fucked up. I take a day off, try to pull myself together. No. I was like,
I worked all this time, got all this vacation. I go to use it, and you tell me to go fuck myself.
No, honestly, it was like pulling teeth taking vacation from Sears.
Oh yeah, fucking God! I remember. I'll tell you, I feel your pain because when I was working at Waffle House, getting that fucking vacation time was like the equivalent of wanting to chop off my left nut. That was about what it felt like to get that fucking 1 week of vacation, and I only got 4 days out of that 1 week because they needed someone to work the night shift on the weekends. I was like, God, motherfucker! I just wanted 1 week off.
But like I was saying, that these were the biggest Christian people. They're like, and it just happened to both be at Sears. I was like one when I was working on the package pickup. He was a dick, but he was like he would talk trash about people, but he was a big time Christian person. He made sure he went to church. Same thing with the guy who was my hardware manager. He was like big time Christian guy, but I had to be at Sears for something in the morning to get the signs up, and not only that, to get a lot of the product ready. And 4 o'clock in the morning, while his ass is still in bed getting ready to go to church. So I was like, oh, maybe I want to go to church, even though that'd be a lie. But I feel like, I hate to say it, a lot of times these Christian people, they'll use like you said, they'll use the Bible as a shield, and they think they're a better person because they go to church, but they're also the biggest fucking dicks on the planet.
It's like I tell people I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he is my Lord and Savior, and that God created humanity and everything that like the Bible said about as far as humanity was made and all that. We all already know the story. However, I call people like her out like that is because I've read, and not just read, but I studied the works of Christ. I studied what Paul and them were saying, and I understand what they were actually talking about. And like, these people don't fucking know what they were talking about, and they just pull Bible verses out of their ass because I guess it's just more entertaining to watch me have a mental fucking breakdown trying to explain it to them that they are and this is where my soundboard finally gets to be used for this one time.
Dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're great.
Grade A #1 dumbasses.
Well, I am a sun worshiper, but I believe in the. You ever seen the Superman? I think episode was it #4 where they send up materials of DNA of Superman into the sun, and it's like the evil version of Superman,
right?
But he's powered by the sun. That is my God. Is that evil Superman? He is who I pray to. So
I know what I'm going to be doing for Halloween. Just to fuck with you. You don't feed me ammo because I will do it. I will gladly drop everything I'm doing just to fuck with you. Just to make it happen. No, I'm not going to be like a dick like that. I respect.
I gotta apologize to my God for that because not remembering his name. So,
like I said, I respect other people's religious beliefs. I tell them, look, if you want a relationship with Christ, I am more than happy to lead you to the light, but I cannot make that happen for you, nor am I going to force you into that. That's not what Christ called me to do. Christ did not call me to force my beliefs down your throat. He called me to preach his word. I feel personally he called me to do it through music. However, that has not come to fruition yet, so maybe it's not the right time. But then again, I should not be impatient, because when I have been impatient, I've noticed my life goes to hell in a handbasket. But when I am patient on him, when I wait on him, I've noticed I've gained blessings like I am now, where even though financially I'm strapped, I've got thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment. I've got access to the internet where I can stream and speak my opinions and my thoughts to dozens of people who somehow find me entertaining. I tell people I am blessed by the Lord, even though I go through a lot of hardships. Even though my stepfather's in this urn, I know one day I will get to see him again in the form that I knew him in when he was alive. And I will get to see my father one day. I'll get to see him for what I remembered him being, which was the great man that he was, who was great at pissing people off. But then again, you can't be a great heel if you don't know how to piss people off.
That's true. That's true.
Which is a little take that I think some wrestlers could use because most wrestlers don't know how to piss people off. Eric.
Yeah. Oh no, honestly, I think he's a good heel. If you watch his wrestling gimmick, I think he is a good heel because
he wishes he was like me. He 10 times wishes he was like the Tims. He begs to be like me.
I think he's a good heel because
I'm antagonizing the shit out of him so that way he'll finally get on my show and be like, what the shit you've been talking about lately? I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'm like, you're damn right you're gonna come down and get your ass whooped. So why don't you get your ass down from Texas all the way down here to Georgia, boy, and I can smack that ugly off your face and maybe you finally get a date.
I don't think he has a problem finding a date.
I guarantee you, I bet every dollar I got, he probably has a hooker every night in his house. And when he says he needs to let his dog out, it's actually because he's letting the hooker out. Oh, shots fired. Shots fired. Eric's definitely going to make a video. I guarantee you right now, he's watching this. He's just A-logging it. And he's like, this motherfucker. Let's see. Let me find out. Let me check my Discord again. I'm going to get this motherfucker. I'm going to get him. I'm going to kill him. This is it. This is the day he's going to die. He lives at this address. Booking a ticket.
Hey, let's go ahead and continue.
But Eric knows I love him and I just fuck with him for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, he's not going to play fine. Fuck you.
Joe and bring in money for both of us.
Rich had very recently given Jay a PC, though it was clear that this was for.
Well, 8-Bit Eric is generic, and he knows it.
Rich was using this as leverage to not commit to the payment he was promised. What's also interesting about this computer is that Rich cared so little about it initially that he was going to give it away to Darkside Phil.
Look, I see people, Jay just wasn't interested in doing clips. That's all it is, and we're both fine now. Like, we're both in better places in terms of what we want to do. That's it. And we'll stream together from time to time. That's it.
Jay is in better position, not you, Rich.
Yeah, so I'm literally still looking at the computer right now. Eventually, I have another friend up in Canada I'm going to give it to.
The reason Jay got the PC was because Darkside Phil refused it, possibly fearing that it may have spyware. I
wonder why.
I was giving Phil a Threadripper. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, Phil, I was going to put spyware on your computer. It would have just contained a fresh copy of Windows 10 that you would have to install all your shit. Something's going to come up, I'll explain. Kind of ties into what I just said.
Escalated well into March. On March 5th, Jay tweeted, quote, I want to say that yesterday Rich sent me a bunch of really terrible audio messages that made it clear how he feels. I am done. I can't deal with nonsense anymore. I've been worried how this will look for him. I didn't want to have to say anything again, but I am done trying to help him. Unquote. In a different tweet, Jay
San Antonio is a beautiful city. I was down in Texas, man. I did like that.
He wasn't going to read them, but to ask Rich to play them on his show. Jay then tweets that he is done with the situation once more.
Since it's out there, you know what, Jay? I'll play the messages.
Do you realize how much damage you not getting a $500 when you've gotten so much extra from me throughout the years?
There's not much substance in these initially private voice messages. They recap the drama and include some belittlement of Jay. However, Rich was furious that Jay exposed their existence, and now having paid Jay the money owed, he saw it fit to go after him rather than let things die down. Here, Rich provides reasons why Jay was not the best employee, including the times he refused to make clips and shorts for the.
I'm just going to say, you can see it on Rich's face, and I'm going to do like the zoom in for the audience. You can see it on Rich's face. He really wants to say something, but he can't. You could tell he wanted to say something about those audio messages.
Well, obviously he has to refrain because, I mean, if it does, I mean, he would be going back on what he just said. So he needs to be on his best behavior.
Who really thinks he's going to do that? Plus, secondly, I want to talk a little bit about the voice messages. I will say June did a little too much of just kind of scraping over. I wish he did a little more in detail about it. Let one of them fully play through, because I really feel like if he had let one of them fully play out, it would really show the mentality he was in at that time. Because I want to tell this quick story and then we'll move on. I was there at that live stream that night when that shit went down. It was called Watching Locale Live and Keffels. I was there on the phone in a Discord server called Cosmic Waves or something like that. And the guy I was on the phone with is called Nervous Wreck or Nervous Greg. And he's an artist who works a full-time job. And he does like 8-bit art. 8-bit, 16-bit art. And me and him were talking on the phone about what originally went down because I was not aware of the Facebook post. So he was telling me about it. He was showing me pictures. I was like, holy shit, Rich, this is kind of fucked up. And then he told me, dude, turn on the live stream right now. So I turned it on and I put him on speaker and I blasted my iPad because at the time I had the iPad because my laptop was charging. And I had my phone over like this, like Rich had like over the microphone. And because it would look like this, so I had it over the iPad like this, and we were listening to it, and I pulled it off, and I said, "Holy shit! What the fuck just happened?" Well, little did we know that it was Coco asking Rich why he made those, why he sent Jay those voice messages. Because apparently Coco didn't understand because Rich said they were okay, and now Jay's sending these messages saying that they're not buddies, they'll never be friends, and that he hates him, but he's going to be cool with him in public. You see how like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like. I mean, why try to pull the wool over people's eyes? Because eventually, it's going to come out. You know,
It's,
like one way or another. Either something heinous, like maybe someone hacks into your phone and finds that out, or someone has hurt feelings and they're like, "Oh, here's the information."
which in this case, Jay posted it.
Yeah.
Well,
so, I mean, well, he posted that he just said there was hurtful
let's see
voicemails, but he didn't put any voicemail out there. Rich did.
Let's see. I kind of remembered what the tweet was, which was I received some terrible audio messages from someone who claimed they were a friend of mine. I just can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I'm done.
And well, I mean, we all knew what it meant. So
yeah, we all knew who he was speaking about, but I could not understand why him being cryptic. But anyhow, let's go ahead and finish this up because we've been streaming for 3 hours and I'm exhausted.
You got paid to basically sit on your ass. Now, there are times I've made you wait with my terrible time management, and I will own that. But again, you stayed. How many times did I give you extra shit, extra money?
Rich played his hand. This is all he had against Jay.
I could be Rich, too.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to block him and move on.
I'm going to block him and move on.
Eric ain't left wing at all.
Was a lie. Though Rich lacked ammunition, he sought to continue the feud.
You're the sidekick everywhere you go. That's not jealousy saying that. When you used to
sound like your balls getting grabbed.
You sit there and sound like your balls were getting grabbed.
Cheeky, be back in the video.
Oh God.
Other video. You couldn't cut it. That's why you became my editor. You got paid to basically sit on your ass. Now, there are times I've made you wait with my terrible time management. Now, dude, I admit all the fucking time I'm wrong with stuff.
My favorite part of that whole stream, though, that made me laugh was like, put it on a time band, put it on fucking Times Square, put a picture of Jay smiling, Jesus smiling, and put the words above it. It's saying, Rich thinks he's a cocksucker, and I will stand next to it and take a selfie smiling, dickhead. That part I died laughing because this is what I pictured real quick. I pictured Jay in a tutu, nothing but a tutu, smiling like a tooth fairy, actually with wings on, like a tooth fairy with the wand, and Rich is standing there smiling like this. That's what I was picturing in my head when I heard that. I don't know why, but I did.
I'm hearing that I was. Since the local podcast of one of the recent ones that came up in the last couple days, with this World of T-Shirts guy and Mr. Bass dude. I never heard of neither of them until recent to the show.
Oh yeah.
And then I looked into it a little bit. World of T-Shirts went to New York, paid enough money to have a little ad on the screen in Times Square. So, like, I think it's $5,000 or something like that. So he would put King of New York and then it's him dancing and singing. So he would have to pay that at least to have him in Times Square like that. So it's possible to do that,
Oh my
but it'd be
God.
costly. It'd be costly.
Oh my God, that's funny. Fucking King of New. I love that fucking King of New York. That's wow. Just wow. God damn it. Okay, let's.
All the time.
Let's
I
get
eat
to this.
crow all the time when I fuck up.
No.
I'm not admitting it with this one.
I'm not
the
admitting it with
heights
this
I'm going
one.
to go to.
The heights I'm
'cause
gonna go
this
to.
is put a fire under
Just put a fire in my ass, as
like
my
you
whole
wouldn't believe
career
are gonna be
goes fucking down
This drama
yonder.
was-
And I
Yeah,
quit
it
a
got
million
too- I got too
subscribed
petty. It
channel.
got too petty. I should have just stopped.
Coming out during Rich's worst performing month this year so far. But Jay also wasn't done because he did a podcast breaking down what happened.
So let's get this straight. He said, I'm a parasite. Then he made a stream about
was
it and
there on
said,
that
I stand
podcast.
by what I said. And then days later, he apologized. He said, I shouldn't have done that. And now where are we at? I don't even know, because it's like being on a roller coaster that spins. I don't even know what direction we're in when it comes to what he's talking about.
As poorly as Rich continued to handle this, there were moments where Jay prodded Rich, excusing these prods as jokes. Like when he made a channel called Review Tech Canada after being fired. This
Now-
channel was removed after it.
Correction. There's one correction there. Jay did not make another channel. He changed JKB to Review Tech China.
I mean, Canada.
I don't know why I said China. I meant Canada. That is the one small correction he didn't. That's the one part that June did get wrong that I did point out in the server. But let's continue.
Yeah, because changed it for a day.
Yeah, and it was meant to be a joke because originally those two were still friends at the time. But anyhow, let's continue.
Being that Rich has had various detractor channels that follow him intently that are spin-offs of his channel's name, this could be seen as a strike at Rich.
Wouldn't you want to span out? Like, he was his editor anyways. Like, so, I mean, could have spanned out to, like, have him be Review Tech Canada. I mean, that could have been helped both of them out, you know?
Yeah, it could have, but no. Just no, apparently.
Like, he could have been like the hype show to get the hype up the main channel, you know? But I would just saw the opportunity right there.
That was a beautiful opportunity, and in my opinion, he pissed that all away. Just pissed it all away. Pissed it all fucking away. Unbelievable. Anyhow, let's go ahead and finish it up with the J drama.
There was also the firing on his birthday that, while accurate, was getting the criticism that he was victimizing himself.
And it was supposed to be like a public joke where people went, oh, he's Review Tech Canada for a day or whatever on his YouTube channel. I changed it literally for like 20 hours. My first stream was called I'm Fired on My Birthday, which is what technically happened. You know, and it was a joke.
In the overall picture, it did not matter because Rich was far more aggressive and a dam was beginning to leak. As Rich previously brought forward all reasons why Jay should be disliked, users were finding more and more reasons why Rich should be felled. This was becoming a rabbit hole as one event was hooked to another, and slowly his controversial history was being dug up, like this podcast that he did with Jay.
How many times did he bring up people hate him?
Yeah,
you know, during the streams. Constantly. He in the last, like, I'd say 6 months, if you go back, he was proud of the fact that people didn't like him. And when we would stream together, and this is something I never talked about, he had Ethan Ralph's ex-wife on the show, quote unquote.
This was an event that happened just 2 months ago in the period that Jay and Rich still streamed together. When the alleged ex-wife of a controversial creator was interviewed.
I remember that stream because I was there for that one.
That struck Rich along for nearly 30 minutes. The troll then linked the call to a different troll that Rich willingly accepted.
Did you ever see that time where he, because you kept mentioning the hard R before, did you ever see when he was talking about the hard R?
Oh.
Yes.
It meant something different when he said it.
Yeah. That was that the video you're talking about?
You know that hard R means, well, I don't want to say it, but.
Well, we said rape before.
Yeah, okay, so I can say it? Are you saying I can say it?
Yeah, you could say
You're giving me the
right there. Rich should have known exactly what he meant.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's a dumb. Like, oh, I said it before. I'm sure now. I was like, you're an idiot.
No. Okay, see, he's not an idiot. He is a
dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're great.
It's perfect and it fits because he is.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck wouldn't be able to figure out he was talking about the N-word?
Exactly.
The racial slur.
Because, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, if anyone's going to see, this is what I have a problem with YouTube, because you can't say certain words because it hurts you. Even, like right now, like it would hurt our channels, not financially, but, you know, it puts us shadow bans. So, like, if we would say all the words that, even though they're technical words, oh, you can't say this because it hurts people emotionally. Like, so what about the news networks that could say these certain words?
Yeah, and it's on almost frequent basis.
Yeah, that's okay because they're a big time channel or company. But if we want to talk about or debate or something about something, oh well, if you say these certain words that, you know, self-harming or something sexual or whatever, it's gonna hurt you. So you don't have you gotta go around, or you call them, you know, how people starting to call it PDI file. I'm like,
oh, PDI file is like, no, it's pedophile. You can say pedophile. Like, that is the politically correct and legal term.
Google doesn't like that, though. So Google's like, oh, we gotta censor certain words. But maybe Google's into some stuff, because if you think about it, like, why are they protecting certain words like that? Like why is, you know, predator, stuff like that? Oh, you can't say that, but you could say murder. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Or homicide. Oh, that's okay. You could say something gruesome
like serial killer.
Like, yeah,
psychopaths and like sociopaths, stuff like that. But you tell me you can't say the word pedophile or edophile?
Yeah. We shouldn't say too much more because could hurt the views. So I always thought it was bullshit, because this is stemming all the way from the beginning of the adpocalypse. Because,
oh yeah, that was fucking the most brutal time on YouTube, and that was right when I started up my YouTube channel. Funny enough, a little bit before that adpocalypse is when I started up my YouTube channel. And
see, there's a difference from, like, if you want to talk about it, like freedom of speech, even though Google, I mean, is in America, I guess, but that doesn't mean, because we're on YouTube, that doesn't mean freedom of speech. But we're all, I can understand about hate speech. That's one thing, but that's what caused this whole problem. It's because they were sponsoring, putting ads on hate speech.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but it was also on videos where people were being beheaded, and it was also other videos where it was literally ISIS teaching people how to join the ISIS group and fight the U.S. Army. That was another one that did it.
So, like, but because they did that, we kind of protect certain words. I can understand they don't want people going cussing left, right. Okay, but when you go beyond the cuss word and you're trying to censor technical words because it sounds bad, you know.
Absolutely, it's just, and it does legitimately come off as stupid. But anyhow,
and let's go ahead and move on.
Like, what more can be said about it that hasn't already been said?
This was so bad.
The troll goes on to say the N-word, and Rich and Jay fully understand the situation they were in. More of these moments that make Rich a fool would come to light if he continued this crusade. And it seemed that Rich was fully committed to do so, as he announced he would be on the podcast Locale Live, but then walked it back soon after.
We're doing a video on my channel, and we're both going to be candid. We're going to be professional. We're going to be civil. No one's going to yell.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Locale podcast. This is better. Not going to go on there.
This video did not come, and the truce lasted only 4 days. It was this tweet of Jay's that possibly reignited the flame, stating that he was going to do an interview with Darkside Phil, but it was going to be a positive one because he was sick of all the negativity. Rich sought to ruin this opportunity by exposing the time Jay talked negatively about Phil. Rich then went on to tweet that Jay tried to extort him over the phone, but being that it wasn't recorded, there is no existing proof. Jay then responded to Rich, and this soon became back and forth. Rich stated that his channel would outperform Jay's a year from now, and Jay responded by saying that Rich has a clear advantage.
And the reason why I'm watching it, because I want to make it like I'm not watching it, and the reason why I'm just recusing myself because we've moved on from this. You understand what I'm saying? But if I skip it, you know what people are going to say.
Adding that he would not recommend working with Rich. This ended with Jay calling Rich a crazy ex, and also calling him by a nickname, Dickie. Just like the fake ex-wife Rich interviewed, this was also a nugget into Rich's humiliating history. Specifically, this old video of Rich talking about one of his prior jobs.
His name was not Dickie.
It's not humiliating. I thought it was funny. Was it the guy with...
He looked right there.
Yeah,
and he looks
fucking
healthy.
Oh no, granted, he looked like he was a little tired. Maybe he recorded that at like 3 a.m, but he had a pretty healthy looking beard, decent looking glasses. His body figure was pretty good for his size. It looked like he'd been working out, kind of dieting properly. And when he talked pretty normally, and like his opinions were pretty good takes. I enjoyed a lot of his takes. As a matter of fact, he was one of the people that got me into wanting to study technology, like how hardware works. He wasn't the one that got me into cybersecurity, but he was the one that got me into learning hardware as far as like PCs versus consoles, Macs, like how each one works differently from each other, how each company manufactures their products. He got me into the whole right to repair, and the person who's kept me in right to repair is none other than Louis Rossman. Fucking funny, phenomenal guy. I would love to do some content with him. I would fucking love to. I don't think it will ever happen, but if I ever get the chance, I will be fucking down to do it. But anyhow, we are almost done with this, so let's go ahead and let this finish out, and then we're going to give our final thoughts, and we're going to end the stream because we've been streaming for 3 hours. Man, oh man, has it been a crazy fucking ride.
But a box, it was a humiliating. Well, I did get slapped on the ass with the paddle.
Coworker gave him a disparaging nickname.
He continues on and goes,
oh yeah, that's right.
Even better. I'm going to call you Dickers. You are Dickers!
Because of the resurfacing of this nickname, Dickers is what detractors of Rich would derisively refer to him as. In retaliation to Jay's tweet, Rich finally went on the Locale Live podcast where he breaks down the situation.
What I'm saying is, when I...
Why did I go on the podcast?
Hear your point of view, I'm on your side. I would really like Jay to get here to hear Jay's point of view.
Yeah, after what you did to Tommy, no one cares.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot, but Rich, you ain't got much room to talk.
Anyway,
on this, but I would love him here too. Everything that I'm hearing, I have to side with Rich.
Though Keemstar points out that Jay was not present to deliver his point of view, he does side with.
Just realized something. He's a fucking hypocrite because he did the exact same thing. He's like, he wasn't going to pay. Keemstar wasn't going to pay.
Hey Tommy the $6,000. He literally did the exact same thing that Rich did. It's fucking hysterical.
He's a hypocrite. So I just realized that. It's like
I was waiting for you to put that one together. I wasn't going to say anything. I wanted to see if you were going to say it. So I'm glad you picked up on that one. I'm so glad you did, because I wanted to say that real quick, that not only is he a hypocrite, he is a
dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're great.
And now that I got to insult Keemstar some more for the fun of it, let's continue.
And with Rich now feeling just
what after show
and victorious, he makes
what
it
after show
that he's done with the Jade drama, even considering the times he said he was done before, to then only jump back in.
I am going to say to people, please refer to this, whatever episode this is. That's it. Like, I don't want to talk about him anymore. I don't want to. Like, I'm done. Like, yeah, I know I've
that turned into a big fat vicious
Rich
lie.
also reveals a few details of this upcoming high-quality project that is supposed to set the tone for the future of his channel.
It's a retrospective on the industry and how it's fucked right now, and it's about 40 minutes long, and
we're going to skip over that because I already did a 2.5 hour episode about how fucking terrible his game retrospective was. I don't even want to play 15 seconds of it. I legitimately don't want to play 15 seconds of it because, one, I don't want Nintendo killing me, and two, I fucking despise it with everything I fucking have. It pissed on my childhood. It pissed on my favorite video games, and he proved how much of a dumbass he is. Ah! Ah!
Are you at your screen, or are you?
I'm trying to not wake my neighbors up. I am trying my damnedest to not wake my neighbors up. But I'm so fucking tempted because that goddamn video is a piece of trash. The world's biggest piece of trash. I wasted fucking 6 hours of my life watching the goddamn thing because I thought it was going to be good. The first time I watched it, I was like, you know what? Maybe I just didn't understand the humor. Next time I watched it, I realized it was bad. Then the third time I watched it because I was stupid and decided I was bored and I wanted to watch something. And I watched that and I realized I wasted my life. My life. Ah! Ah! I feel like Markiplier when he played the game Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. I feel like throwing a chair, but I only have one chair to sit in. Ah! It's okay,
Talk
AJ.
about that. Talk about that. I'm going to need I think I got to get a better chair than, like, when I'm sitting in this recliner, like, doesn't look good. I need to, like, sit up properly and it just so I look better. So, like, I do have a folding chair, so I might think about using that in the future because even though it would hurt, but I would sit up more properly instead of slouching over. Or I could sit over there where I was, I think, last week because I was in the middle of resetting my shelving. So I think I was sitting over there last week. So.
Oh, God, just fucking. Yeah, you should get yourself a better chair, and I need to calm down. So we're going to skip over that. We're skipping the fuck over it. I don't care. We are skipping over it. We are skipping the fuck over it. And we're going to get to right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
If I just kept plowing through this, June's documentary would have been 7 hours. I didn't flag this video. I would never, for this. There's nothing even.
By the way, in case you were wondering, he claimed he was going to flag the video if there was any sort of quote unquote misinformation. There you go.
Oh, I heard that too.
Remotely close to flaggable here.
That's another lie.
Nothing. Not even. No. So it is.
But I will say quite a few of my friends have posted this to Rumble. So just in case it does get flagged down for whatever the fuck reason, somebody flags it down, there is other copies of it around, and I have access to those links. So
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure people download it. So,
yeah, downloaded the video as well. But so far, to my knowledge, the video has not been struck down. But anyhow, and it's currently set to surpass Boogie 2988's documentary, and that one talked about him faking cancer. So I'm just saying, that's when you know you fucked up royally, is when the guy who faked cancer is getting more love than you are. He faked cancer.
Yet a lot of you don't understand. I'm sorry.
There was at least a few days of silence. This could have ended here, but then Jay, on his live stream, received a donation from what appeared to be at first glance a random fan.
Hey, Jay.
Oh, I remember this.
Love the show and think you're doing a great job.
Oh, my God.
I think it's disingenuous that you said that Rich copied your humor. Why lie?
I will say, I think Snort Hogan must have jacked off at least 100 times to this documentary because so much of his footage is being used.
Exactly.
I guarantee you he was probably like, oh, yes, June. Yes, keep using my clips. Yes. Oh.
Well, you gotta remember, a lot of them, like Snort and King of Casino, Snort really just plays clips. I mean, you never hear him.
Yeah, I've never heard him in any of those videos ever. And I guarantee you now, because I've said that, he's probably watching me right now, and now he's going to start clipping me out of context just to get back at me for that joke. Well, here you go. I'll give you something else to clip. Oh, yes, Jay. Yes, keep bitching about Rich. I need the views. Oh, I know that's going to get clipped by so many people. They're going to clip the shit out of that. And I hope whoever clips it, I hope the AI generate Rich's face over the top of me. But anyhow, let's get to the end of the stream, honestly, because he just goes over everything else the same, like everything. So let's go ahead and get to the end right here. And we'll let this play out because this talks a little bit about the Dropbox, and then we're going to give our final thoughts.
Account. Rich verifies the story by calling who he claims to be his ex-wife.
Quick question for you.
Not ex-wife. Ex-fiance. Ex-fiance. I was never married. I just know to get that right. I'm going to have to put a sign behind me. I was never married. That has been something for years. Not trolling. Like, just in general, I was never married. Can I put that out there? Is there a way you can look that up? I'm sure someone fucking will. I was never married.
As you're sleeping, those pictures in my Dropbox, why are they there?
Because my kids used to upload their phones to our Dropbox.
Before they sold them, correct?
Yeah. Before they trade them back in.
Okay, that's all. Go back to sleep.
As these streams are going on, suddenly the pieces are falling into place as to why Rich decided to come forward with the existence of these photos.
We had Rich exposed literally about something completely different, and he thought he was hacked. He was using a VPN that had Saint Sue Marie apparently or some shit on the.
Yeah, they're fucking lying. This part they're fucking lying about. This is them just fucking making up a game. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
VPN, and he thought we went through his Dropbox.
How stupid is this guy?
I don't know.
There were many theories crafted that were not generous in explaining why those photos were on there. The facts are that in May 2024, Review Tech was at its lowest point in over 10 years. It is a dead channel. This is not drawn from its decline or speculation of its future. Review Tech USA is a dead channel because on May 21st, 2024, Rich posted this goodbye video.
Over what?
Again.
I was like, you know what? Boom.
And then he turns around and posts Keffel's video, and then he posts his music video.
Yeah.
And with that, we're done. We gotta be done on that because what he says, he's not in a defeatist mentality, meaning that he doesn't think he's over with, that his career's done, that if he keeps up the music, he will succeed. And as far as I'm concerned, that ain't happening. So
no, his music sucks.
So for the first ever time we've ever reviewed a live stream and we speed ran this, on a scale of epic or trash, and I'm going to teach you how the system works. Like I've been noticing him teaching everybody. Oh, you already know how it works then.
Yeah.
So on a scale of epic or trash, what would you call it?
I gave the documentary a net pick. But his take, I would give it trash.
So epic documentary like we did in the first stream. So yeah. That was ever. So Rich's response you say is trash. I'm gonna have to agree with you. A lot of it was just him deflecting. Sometimes he would take responsibility. That was very rare in it, and for the most part, it was bad. And like I said, that whole recusing himself from the J thing is what ruined it for me, because I really was hoping he would actually clear the air, like actually lay the whole fucking thing out and be like, this is what all went down. This is what was happening to me. This is why I acted the way I acted. It's not an excuse, but this is what led to this. I'm like, if he had just fucking explained himself, I feel like his response would have been better. It would have cleared the air on a lot of stuff, and it would have, at least wise in my opinion, possibly put him and Jay in an even better situation, because then the air is clear there. And if Jay got butthurt about that, then it would be Jay's fault. Jay can't be mad at Rich for it.
Yeah, but I think it's also he was playing it safe not to say anything against Jay, because he knows the backlash that from support for Jay, it would have been more backlash against him. So I think he should have apologized, but if anything, if he wasn't, then saying nothing the better decision than trying to defend himself, because then you're making yourself look even worse, because you're not taking no ownership when there's so much proof against you.
Amen.
So
there was so much going against him, and he just fucking unbelievable. So what's your final thoughts on the whole situation? Go ahead and, like, for your opinion on my channel, and if you want to talk about it on your channel for future reference, you can. I'm not controlling you on that aspect. I'm saying for as far as like my channel, what is your final thoughts and opinion on it?
I think he's done. I think he could do steps to come back, but I think he's far past done. Like, even Gerard from the completionist is trying to act like, oh, this never happened. I'm gonna continue making videos, and people are still shitting on him since, because no one's gonna forget about him about doing the charity fraud. And I honestly feel like Rich is in bad, worse light than Boogie. And Boogie, I mean, fake cancer and did a crypto scam.
Like back to fucking back.
Yeah. But Rich somehow came out looking even scummier, because he's, I mean, I don't see Boogie really attacking so much people like how Rich did. Rich, like, not only attacks Jay after firing him, and then he would attack his fans too. Like, oh wow, like what an asshole. Like I would never, like, call you all haters in the chat. Like, then Holland or losers. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Call your fans losers. I'm like, I would never do that. So I was like, I would point out that people were like, okay, you're a troll and you're an asshole troll and you're banned now. That's what I do. Get rid of you. But I'm not gonna say, all right, you're all trolls. But I cannot. Well, the thing is, like I was saying beforehand, like I was watching Mr. Bass, and people were just dunking on him, especially Mr. Bass, because it looks like he's definitely taking advantage of the world's a t-shirt guy. Because if it wasn't him there, he would be a nobody. So, but his whole chat is just dunking on him. So I could see why he called them asshole losers, even though I feel like the chat is in the right. Minus when they're attacking the guy who's autistic, like extremely autistic. You could tell, and like he has a drinking problem though too. So like, I would never like don't want to dunk on someone, call them like, oh, they're disabled, like, or something like that. Like they were doing that to him. I thought that was not cool. But I don't know. I just hate them showing hate like that. So I know I'm kind of going all over the place right now because I'm getting tired. I'm ready to hit the hay.
You're good. I was gonna say you actually kind of nailed some of the points I was gonna say, so that actually makes my little speech gonna be pretty short. As someone who was a fan of his, as someone who did reach out, because I honestly had believed that he was not as he was being painted, that he was a good guy, that he could do the right thing, and he could work with people. I honestly believed that he could apologize, that he could make things right. And I told him, I was like, I understand the daughter part. I understand that it feels like everybody's fucking against you, but it's not. There's people like me who are for you. We want you to succeed. We want you to be better. We want you to grow as a person and succeed in life. Not only just for you, but your daughters and your son, your family, and your children's children that will come after them. And he basically told me I was a dumbass for believing so, and that he was going to burn everything to the ground. Well, he did, because he painted me as a sexual predator, him and his friends. And I'm going to name that motherfucker. Called the Jostler.
The Jostler?
Yeah. He never said it directly, but he would allude to it.
Well, God, I was trying to think that I had a point to bring up, but I totally just, like I said, I'm exhausted. Like I don't
blame you, because like I said, I'm about to wrap this one up. But I wanted to bring this final point home that I agree with you. I think Rich is done. His career is done. He needs to find a new line of work, honestly. And it sucks to say that because he was a great entertainer. But yes, when you have no respect for your audience, especially those who supported you through Hellfire and Brimstone, that would be JKB and Sexy Coco. When you are willing to turn on them on a moment's notice because you think it makes you look better, that truly shows what kind of man you really are. And in my opinion, you're not a man. And I think, I'm going to finish it on the words of DSP. Even if and this is a quote, I'm quoting him, paraphrasing it a little bit. Even if I had let you have this final fucking chip, I know you would never change because you had multiple opportunities to change. I'm going to use this as a representation of the chip. Even if I had left you this chip, I know that you would never fucking change because you've had multiple opportunities to drop my name, to drop Jay's name, to drop Coco's name out of your mouth, to show them love and respect, to show your audience love and respect, but you chose not to. You attacked those who supported you and praised those who hated you. And at the end of the day, you're a lolcow, and that's all you will ever be because you chose that path, and there is no recovering for you.
Oh, I remember it now. He, like how some people say, well, you're not officially canceled if you let yourself get canceled. Well,
I disagree. If people don't want you on the platform, they will take you off the platform. It's obvious. But the ultimate thing is only you can wrap up your career, finish your career. And in my opinion, Rich finished his career not on the height, not where he will be fondly remembered for the work that he did, like Matt Pat and the Game Theorist.
Yeah.
He will not be remembered for the great things he did in life when Markiplier, when he gets ready to retire. He will not be remembered for the people that he helped, like Good Times with Scar has done. He will be remembered for being worse than Boogie 2988. And that, in my opinion, is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And on that unfortunate down note, I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for watching. Everyone has tuned in, has dropped likes, shared, subscribed. I've gained new subscribers now because of it. If you want to support my channel, you can join the Patreon, join the Discord server. You might even get to talk to Casey himself when he finally remembers to show up in there more than just dropping videos off. That's a hint. I'm fucking with you, man. You can also talk to yours truly. You can talk to my admins. Everybody's in there. We're all having a great time. And get ready for the Gamergate videos that are coming out. Because I got a special guest on there. He's a small-time creator. He's getting ready to start up his documentaries about it. So I figured I would give him a little boost. His name is CJ in the World of Gaming. And while he is a 16-year-old, he's one of the smartest fucking students I have ever met in my entire life. Like, his intelligence is fucking beautiful. And I told him I better not find out he starts slacking when he gets to the age of 18. He needs to keep it up, because I think he could go to fucking Harvard University. That's how smart he is. And you're going to love the videos that are coming out about Gamergate. The first one will probably be released either Tuesday or Wednesday. I also got some drum covers coming up. And one final shout out to a good buddy of mine who I am the editor for. It is Lord Triton of the Ravencast podcast. And we're getting ready to release an episode on North Korea, and that's going to be crazy. So make sure you subscribe to the Ravencast. Go look them up right now, Ravencast, or you can find them at Lord Triton. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you get to see yours truly mock the living hell out of North Korea and potentially probably get shot the next morning. New drum covers are coming up as well. I got some fun ones coming up. Casey, you want to talk about your stuff real quick before we head out?
Yeah. Originally, I was going to release Rayman for the Sega Saturn today, but I got home late. Actually, I was planning to maybe do a live stream, because I had to move some stuff around. And sometimes if I move some of the shelves around. So I was thinking about doing that, but that's not going to happen. But I have Rayman for the Sega Saturn that's coming out tomorrow. And I have several new games that I need to get through. So I'm on a Sega Saturn kick right now. But I'll probably play some Game Gear games coming up. And just, if you like retro gaming, I'm your man.
Not only that, but he has a live stream every Saturday night. And sometimes yours truly comes on there to start wars, because that's what I'm good at. And by the way,
Saturday is Raw.
And Saturday is... You need to change it to Saturday is War, because I go on there and I start wars, especially with Devious Dave. Go fuck yourself. And
originally we called it Friday is Raw. I mean, Friday is War. Friday is Raw because it was on Friday, but because, you know, I'm exhausted on Fridays now, so that's why I moved to Saturday. So obviously it changed over to Saturday is Raw. So where I could actually have more energy for the show. So it's fun. Sometimes we would have topics and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we'll do reactions to the pay-per-views. Like me and the Rose did SummerSlam where I did pretty well for that. I mean, for me, for a live stream, it was over 300 views.
And you had yours truly on there as well, and that was especially entertaining. So if you, like I said, if you guys haven't checked them out, go subscribe to him right now. Casey is Raw, Gaming and Wrestling. Right now, go check him out. Fantastic YouTuber, a wonderful gentleman. Always a pleasure to have you on. And hopefully, well, I'll have you on again sometime. Probably on a.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where I'm going to spoil something real quick. Potentially in the works of a wrestling podcast that will make its way on this channel. And the working title for it right now, it's me and my buddy working on it. The working title right now is Getting Color with Wrestling. And
I kind of like that.
And I'm kind of spoiling a little bit, but we're going to talk about and we're going to review wrestling shows and we're going to review some games and whatnot. And we may be looking at the first guest that may be coming on that show. As long as everything comes to fruition, we may be looking at the first guest. So if you guys are interested in that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, make sure you share around. And this is AJ Timms of the Den of Timms, and Casey is Cuckold. I mean, Casey is Raw. Signing out.
Boom, boom. He's right. I called
and
it dead.
Let's have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye, everybody.
Good night, guys. He won't leave me alone. I gotta get rid of him. You're too cute. I get rid of you. I love to tease him. I would be like, you're too cute. I would tell him you need to dial down that